Once. Welcome back to the party, everybody. I am your host, Lutch, aka TheIndianJesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. How is everybody doing tonight? Yes, I got a new chair. I don't know. It's kind of blocking a lot of stuff. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. It's on wheels and I'm on hard floor. So we'll see how that goes. Just want to give a quick shout out to the replay gang. Thank you so much for coming back and watching this, even though you missed the live party. But you missed the live party. That's the best part. So make sure every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, you are right here. And sometimes I go on whenever I feel like it. So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and you will never, ever, ever miss another Indian Jesus party. I also want to give a shout out to the sponsor of our stream, my6shirt.com. Whatever your persuasion, they've got something for you. And of course, it is the only place to get your very own The Indian Jesus official merch. Only at my6shirt.com. All right. What is going on? What's good, Tyler? Yes, new chair. I don't know. What do you think of it? Feels like it's too bulky. And I don't know. But welcome. If you haven't already seen, yes, in fact, our good friend Steven Crowder has done yet another Change My Mind edition. If you're not familiar, the Change My Mind segment, I mean, I don't know how you wouldn't be familiar. It's its own meme by now. But basically he just has a prompt. Ugh, it's a little warm down here. Hold on. So he'll have a prompt and set up a table, usually on a college campus. And the prompt this time is women should not be in combat roles. So I am not necessarily, really looking to focus on that specific topic. What I think is more interesting than anything else out of this is the fact that we can see how obvious when a liberal, leftist, whatever, when somebody in that position doesn't know where else to go with the conversation, you can tell because they always have some shifty, weaselly, slimy way of moving the conversation away from, hey, I'm wrong about that thing. You're correct. Okay, cool. Thanks for teaching me something. Into something that somehow has to make you a bad person and them always right. It makes him feel more intimate. All right, word. Okay, I like intimacy. I'm digging it. We'll see how we'll see how it goes. Word up. So as you can see, we're not I'm not looking to go through the whole video. There's 3 or 4 people who actually sit down and talk to him, and because of, I think, 2 things, which I'll get into, there are much more useful and substantive conversations than we usually see. I think the number one thing is that women not being in combat roles, specifically, again, in the military or police, something like that, where they can encounter violence. Again, hit that poll. I would like to know what you think. Should women be in combat roles? But I don't think that is super. I don't think that's super controversial. It comes to, there's things like, there's abortion and pew pew rights and all that stuff. And the fact that I can just say women should not be in, as the Change My Mind says, in combat roles. Still got to break it up, but I can still say it. It is inherently the stakes are lower. And you can see that in the other people. We're going to watch one person, but there was 4 different people that sat down, I think. And in 3 out of the 4, they essentially agreed. They essentially got to, okay, well, what does this really mean? Is it that because they're women and you think that men are superior? And it's like, no. Well, they changed the requirements, the physical requirements, and now it's about, are you good enough for the job? Is it fair? And then, of course, the saving the lives of your brothers in arms. Hey, we got Kluk in the building. Welcome, buddy. Welcome. So we have the fact that we know that women are overall generally less big and strong than men. Not me, but most men. And mentally, they're not easily, let's just say, trying to be careful here. things like PTSD and stuff are much more apparent in women who have seen combat than men. Not to say, that's not deserved, no matter who gets it. But the point is that this statement for the change my mind is not as controversial, and that led to conversations that weren't that weren't very contentious. And so it was basically like, okay, well, if we put the requirements back to where they were in the 70s, and man, women, other, if you can pass the test, you're good to go. If not, then no go. That's basically what Crowder's position is, which I think is a pretty fair position. And like I said, a lot of people agree with him. But this one girl did not like it at all. She did not like the phrasing. I don't know what it is. But even though, women should not be in that's a little bombastic when you first see it. But as I was saying, when you kind of explain it in that way, it's like, all right, yeah, you kind of, I understand that. Not her, though. Not her. So let's just dive into it. And let me center myself here. Make sure I look pretty as fuck. Yeah, there we go. I want to get the purple in there. Boom. Let's just dive into it. And then as we are watching, then what I think we'll do is stop as these tactics come up and discuss them. So if you haven't already, please hit the like button on your way in. And as you guys know, the sound on StreamYard sometimes doesn't come through. So if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know. Don't let me sit here talking about a silent video. Let's do it!
Now, I don't want to speak out of turn. I think that might have been a change my mind first, in that Jay didn't really seem to have any opinions, at least strong opinions, one way or the other, but was willing to sit down, and I appreciate her willingness to do so, which, by the way, is why we always make all the references available at louderwithcrowder.com. You can click the link in the description to peruse at will and learn more on this topic. Also, if you enjoy this series and want them to continue, please consider commenting below which topic you'd like to see next on Change My Mind, and hit that like button so that YouTube can throttle this anyway. Okay, next up we have Anaya. Anaya or Anaya? Anaya. Okay, I apologize if I get your name wrong because I'm horrible with names.
I said shit. Where we go? We're not at 20 minutes, so I can't say that yet. I can't curse yet. What is going on? No freedoms in the building. I'll post this one, not that one. Welcome back, my friend.
Never forget your face. I have a weird facial recognition software.
I get it. I do the same.
Are you the same way?
Yeah.
Do you remember faces with the name? Like, yeah. I have to, so in my mind, I'll go Annihilator, so that then I'll remember your name, but I might accidentally say Annihilator.
I get it. It's okay.
So already, very disarming. Very disarming. Just coming in, talking about your name, talking about mnemonic devices, talking about... So we're already starting off on a good foot as far as two people who are on the opposite sides of a political issue sitting down to talk about it. That's about as good as you can start.
Got some water here. And nice, Steven.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I like your shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
Are you a big AC/DC fan?
I just like the shirt.
Oh, no.
I've heard Back in Black a few times because movies. I'm very much like a Marvel type person, so.
Who feels old as from that?
What if you wear that shirt and you find out that they're like a white supremacist metal band, like acid rock band?
Then I
don't know.
I don't know. I mean, there's where you kind of like you do your history.
Right, but it sounds like you haven't done on the AC/DC. They're not, by the way. They seem like decent people. I'm just saying.
I get it.
It's always a risk.
My dad says the same thing. He's like, you need to research, and I'm like, sometimes okay.
Good.
I did it once when I was a kid. I got a Grateful Dead shirt at a thrift store.
So he's still warming her up.
I had Mr. Senator, the
all
skeleton,
of this.
with the top hat, and then someone was like,
all of this, and I want you to hear it because I want the full context of the conversation, and where it goes, and does it deserve to go there?
Hey, Grateful Dead. I was like, who's Grateful Dead? I went to listen to them, and they sucked. And I was like, oh, I can't believe I wore that shirt out in public. So,
you absolutely need drugs to enjoy the Grateful Dead.
I don't know how familiar you are, if at all, with the Change Your Mind segments. It's basically designed to hopefully rationalize our positions on seemingly controversial topics. They've been actually pretty friendly today, which is a good thing. I'm really happy about that. So today, let me kind of state my position.
I do not believe that women should be in combat roles, meaning roles where they would encounter physical violence, enlisted forces, infantry, or in the police force where they would have to be subduing violent perpetrators. Because it not only is less safe for them, it's less safe for their brothers in arms, and it's less safe for us as a country, the citizens they're sworn to protect.
So again, just laying out the argument, that's where he's coming from. This is why he believes what he believes. As any claim that you make, you should be able to back it up. Otherwise, you're just saying things. We don't like that. So very good, putting a baseline out there.
I specifically say women because I support a physical meritocracy, but we have only lowered the standards to allow more women into the military and police force.
So just for so you guys can see, whenever this white thing pops up on the bottom of the screen, that's him flashing a source. So a lot of people like to talk about this stuff without having sources, like we're doing right now. But of course, we're not actually talking about whether women should or should not be in combat roles. We're talking about the conversation. But point is, every time, and it comes with a little sound effect too. Keep that in mind. All sources available.
So that's why I have a problem specifically with women in combat roles who can meet lower physical requirements and still get the same job.
Okay.
If you disagree with that, or you think I missed something, I'd love to hear you.
I would. Do you want me?
I'll just hold it, just because we've had people try and steal them.
Oh, no,
I'm not saying you would,
but I believe that I strongly disagree, just based off my family's experience. I have multiple cousins. My grandparents were in the military, so I have both men and women in my family in the military. I don't think that certain regulations or rules that they change now are in benefit of women or men. I think it's in betterment of the troops together as a whole, because
So far what she said is, I disagree with you because I have people in my family, and I think it's better for the troops to, have high morale and have fun together.
Think of them as our military is as one. They don't see, oh, you're black, you're white, or you're a woman or a man. When it comes down to combat, one thing that my grandfather has told me when he was in combat was, he's like, I didn't care who it was.
Right.
I don't care. It'd be like, you're my brother, you're my sister. I'm going to save you and make sure you're okay.
Right.
But if you can't save me, I bet he would care. I bet the undertone of that is, as long as you can save me, I don't care.
Regardless of man, woman, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever.
This was your grandfather?
Yes.
Well, I think your grandfather said that because your grandfather sounds like a very decent man.
Well, unfortunately, he has passed away.
Well, he's passed away, but it sounds like a good man.
Why? Like, okay. I mean, I'm sorry that happened to her, but I hate when people do stuff like that. Already, we're seeing the immediacy to frame yourself as a victim. Like, yeah. Okay, like grandfathers die. That's what they do. How is that relevant to the conversation? We're already trying to victimize ourselves.
Here's the issue. Like you said, it doesn't see color. And as a matter of fact, it's true. It's actually kind of a beautiful thing in the military. It's very mixed as far as demographics. A lot of Black Americans, a lot of Hispanic Americans. However, it's not blind when it applies to women. They can meet far lower PT requirements.
Do you think so?
No, it's absolutely true. So they created separate standards for men and women starting in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
You notice she said, you think so? As if this is an opinion. When clearly what was stated is either a fact or a lie. Again, the notion that facts and figures and reality is up for debate in and of itself is at play here. I mean, check this out. Wait. Oh, I thought I programmed that button. All right.
They can meet far lower PT requirements.
Do you think so?
No, it's absolutely.
So you think so? Is that what you think? I've done no research, but that's what you think?
True. So they created separate standards for men and women starting in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And then recently the Army tried to create a gender-neutral test. Less than 10% of men failed. 65% of women failed. For example, in the Marines, a woman can do half as many pull-ups as a man and get a perfect score. We've eliminated push-ups. We've eliminated pull-ups. We eliminated the leg tuck. We've now moved to the plank because women were not passing.
All of these things that used to be standard, and gentlemen like myself were like, oh, I'm a weak little bitch. I can't do that. I don't get to be in the military. And women came along.
If we're talking about them all as one, my issue is that it's not blind. It is creating a separate, lower standard for women to join the same combat roles.
That's the key word there, a separate lower standard. Because, I mean, yes, it's bad to have a lower standard in general, but if it's specifically because of one reason, then we could point to that reason and say, well, let's not do that. Let's not have this be a part of what we're doing. I mean, I could do push-ups. I don't think I'd make it through basic training. I mean, I probably would, but I just wouldn't want to. Couldn't pay me enough to do that.
How does that make those out there in the front line safer? To have someone who's less qualified, less capable, but because they're a woman, they get the same spot.
Well, I mean, I think it also kind of depends on, like, when you come in. Like, you have to think about it. Like,
so the question was, how? How does it make people safer? And she just moves the goalpost. Well, I think, like, when you come in, there's things you have to think about.
there's a lot of high schools that go straight into the military because that's their one option, or that's the option that they choose. So
I
just
do,
as
motherfucker.
any corporate job would be, like, you have your entry level,
Mm-hmm.
be like, that's kind of the same thing with the military now. For, like, my cousin, she went in the military, she did her training and everything like that,
Again, the question was, how does it make people safer to have a lower standard?
and she's moved up the ranks.
And she had to meet a far
Yes.
lower physical requirement than a man.
I don't think so. I mean,
No,
I
she
want
absolutely.
Again, I don't think so. I don't know anything, but I'm going to make a claim here.
I want to call her and ask her, but I don't believe.
Do you know? No, you don't.
It's the policy of. Is she in the army?
No.
Which branch?
No, she's not in the army. Well, honey, sweetie baby, there's only a couple other branches. So the fact that he didn't randomly guess your family's position is not a win for you. Unless you're a leftist.
Air Force.
Air Force. Yeah, it's the policy. Army, Air Force, Marines, they have lower physical standards.
I won't have to ask her, but I don't.
Let's assume
think so.
let's assume that what I'm saying is not untrue. Let's assume, for the sake of argument.
So again, the question was, how does a lower standard help people be safer on the battlefield?
That, for example, women can meet a much lower physical requirement, and not only physical, but certain mental requirements, reflex requirements, that women can achieve a far lower score, or they even have to meet far lower physical standards. Let's say that's the case.
So yeah, Kluk says women are generally unfit for combat roles, but I think there's a unique breed of women who are hyper-aggressive that would excel. Absolutely! And if those women can meet the requirements of what we need for a soldier or a police officer, sure. No issues. The issue is what he's talking about right now is lowering the physical standards so that what we are saying is required to go out there and fight, he brings up the example of a 6'3" dude on PCP. How does that help us?
I'm telling you, I'm giving you my word, it is the case with the Marines, it is the case with the Army, it is the case with municipal police forces. So let's assume that's true. That, for example, a man has to do, let's just say 10 pull-ups, and a woman can do 5 or none and achieve the same score.
The same score.
What are your thoughts? Do you think that's right?
I don't think.
Now, okay, so we've gone past how this is making making them safer in the field. We just didn't talk about that. She rambled for a little. And so now he's talking about the fairness of there being the different standard.
As far as you debating, like, the certain requirements, I don't think that that's fair. I feel like, in my mind, I feel like there should be a basis for everybody.
Same standard.
Same standard.
I agree.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So finally, 10 minutes into the conversation, despite all the AC/DC stuff, we're finally actually engaging with the topic.
Whether it's you do 20 push-ups, if you meet the 20, then hey, you're good.
I agree.
But I don't think it's fair to men or women. Yes. Now, to say, because there are some
to men, to women, to anybody else who, I mean, obviously not anybody, but men and women who are soldiers, men and women who are supposedly being protected by soldiers, police officers, so on and so forth. And as he brings up, people who may be needed to be apprehended by a police officer. And this person doesn't have the physical strength. And so what do?
women who can do 25 push-ups, burpees, and all these types of things and complete the whole
Very,
9
very
yards.
few. That's why we lowered the standards for
This
them.
is what Click was saying.
This is absolutely true.
I don't think so, because they're
What don't you think so? This is exactly what we're talking about. They lowered the standards specifically for women. On what basis do you get to say, I don't think so? Well, you don't think so because you don't think.
You feel on this, I'm sorry, it is absolutely true. The military requirements are far, far lower for women.
For me, I would have to see the statistics, the writing,
Where's your sources? Why? Do they conflict with the sources that you read on this? Asking for sources is relevant when you already have your own sources. If you know nothing and somebody gives you information, you don't have to swallow it whole. But you're not in a position to question them unless you either know more or they just are being completely illogical. And Faroum said, actually, she's correct because they don't know what a woman is. Good one.
every policy that there is to actually understand and see what you're saying. Because
I'm gonna give you a little hint, hon. It doesn't matter how many sources, how many papers you read. You will not understand this any better. Why? Because you have already made up your mind.
I'm a type person.
But if that is true, you would disagree with it.
Yeah. I mean,
did you hear what she was about to say? Did you hear what she was about to say? She said, I'm the type of person, and she didn't finish her sentence, but it sounds like, based on the context, she's going to say, I'm the type of person who needs to research this or get my own sources or look into it for myself. Yet she hasn't. Hey, we got Celibate Scorpion in the building. What is up, girl? What is going on? We are checking out this Crowder Changed My Mind. Not so much talking about the issue at hand of whether or not women should be in combat roles, but more specifically looking at debate tactics for when 3 of the 4 other people who sat down and had this conversation were able to very easily come to common ground with Crowder. And this woman is not. She's at the point where she doesn't know anything, but she's asking for sources. Scoring says, for every one source and statistic she has, anyone can come up with 10 more at the opposite results. I mean, that would be true, but she doesn't have any sources. And so she was saying, they were talking about the standards being lowered for the military and police to accommodate women. And she's just saying, no, I mean, maybe if I saw the sources. Like, why? You don't have any sources to begin with. You don't know what you're talking about. And so maybe you could say, okay, I don't know much about this, but before I would need to see more. But listen to her again, what she was about to say. This girl who sat down with no information.
See the statistics, the writing, every policy that there is to actually understand and see what you're saying. Because
I'm the type of person. I'm the type of person.
But if that is true,
that what? What was she gonna say? I'm the type of person who has got to get all my own research and do all this before I make a decision. I'm so sure you are wearing an AC/DC shirt without knowing anything but Back in Black.
Disagree with it.
Yeah, I mean, I would disagree that there shouldn't be a difference.
Right.
There should be a plain board for everyone to meet the requirements.
Right.
Regardless.
I agree.
But as far as the whole thing of like mental stability and all this type of stuff, I think that it's attacking women as just a gender's character. Because yes,
I'm not
women are. I mean, no, but it's just like.
So you just went on a whole ramble that ended up with attacking women's character. And Crowder didn't even have to finish. Well, I'm not. Well, I mean, no. But so what is it that you're saying here? Hey, we got indie film in the building. In fact, he is the kind of person that says hi when he joins the stream. So if you are just joining us, say hello. Welcome to the party. I'm your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Welcome, buddy. Welcome. We are using the most recent episode of Steven Crowder's Change My Mind to take a real close look at leftist debating topics or tactics, excuse me. And I put that on the thumbnail. You gotta pull people in, but it's not so much about the leftism. It's about the lack of understanding. It's about the entitlement to feel that you deserve a seat at this table, even though you know nothing. Now, I'm not saying physically that table. Yes, she was invited to sit down. He went to a place. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But for you to think that you have a leg to stand on, that intellectually, even somebody as biased as Steven Crowder, that you could match up to that without having even read a single thing and then demanding sources from somebody who is rattling off accurate information. What are you doing?
When I hear people like, well, I don't believe women should be in the military, or I don't believe women should be in combat, I've always heard that, oh, they're emotional, or there's certain like biological factors like, oh, well, they get pregnant. Well, those are true, but I'm like,
that is an issue.
I mean, but just as men,
yeah, but I don't like how it feels. So we don't deal with those kinds of truths.
Like, men are emotional, men have bad days. The fact they can't get pregnant, but I was like, they can also get injured.
Uh-oh. Did she just say what I think she said? She didn't say that, right? No. Do we have to cancel a girl here? Come on. Let's double
Bad
check.
Days, the fact they can't get pregnant, but I was like,
men can't get pregnant? Canceled! Scorpion says, one of the things I like about your channel is that you are open to debate, discussion, and friendly argument without getting offended. Thank you. That absolutely is exactly what we are trying to do here. And No Freedoms doesn't agree, and I definitely might get heated from time to time. But people like Trey, Indie Film, those who have been brave enough to actually come up and speak to me on air, as well as those who are in the Discord server, and we get into it all the time over there. Y'all know that that's just me. I get heated about things. I get passionate about things. I want to talk about them. But what do we always say? Attack ideas, not people. And so to me, it's just about finding the ideas. I want better ideas. If I'm wrong about something, I want to stop being wrong as soon as possible. I like being right. I don't know about you. Maybe you like walking around with dumb shit in your head, but I don't. And so whatever dumb shit that I used to have, I'm glad that I got rid of it. Whatever dumb shit that's still in there, I'm hoping somebody comes along and gets rid of it for me. No, you cannot attack Biden. No, that would be assault. If you would like to insult him, that's a different. What are you doing? If you would like to insult him, please be my guest. But no, with us here, I don't find it useful to attack people in any circumstance, whether it's Biden or anybody else. I would much rather attack the things that Biden says or tries to say, or the things that Biden does in terms of policy and stuff like that. Thank you, Scorpion, and I do really appreciate not only you noticing that, but saying that. What was it? It was Kluke. I think Kluke and I were having was it Kluke? Yeah, a heated discussion in Discord yesterday. Not even about anything. Today we were talking about computer parts, and now he says, I hate when people ask for statistics for literally every statement someone says. I don't need to find a peer-reviewed double-blind test to know that women are physically weaker than men generally. Yep. I hear you, No Freedom. Can't put that one up, but I hear you. But yes, that is what this channel is for. If you are new, that is what we do here. We are looking to get the best ideas that are out there, put them on our heads, and go walk out into the world and be better people because of it. And the only way to do that is to attack ideas, not people, to be open-minded enough to listen to other people, but also willing to get in the hot seat. Push the boundaries. Be willing to put yourself out there and be wrong. It's happened to me before. It is sure as shit going to happen again. But I don't care about that. I have an ego, but that's not part of it. I'm wrong all the time. The only way you can be right is being wrong first.
They can also get injured. So, like, for certain things, like...
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because women, the bone fracture rate, far, far higher.
They might be, and hopefully they're not watching me because of you.
For women, when they're out there in the field. Their disability discharge rate is up in the 60-something% higher than men. And I think percentage of men from the military discharge who get PTSD, it's in the single digits. For women, it's over 10. So it's not an attack on their character. These are statistical realities.
But also it's kind of the fact that...
No time to process. No time to process. Before he started speaking, she wasn't even aware of these things, or she thought these were mere opinions. He lists off statistical realities, and she doesn't even take a breath. She doesn't even take a breath. Watch this. Again, these are the things that you have to look at when you're talking to people. Oh, and the other thing I was going to say before about leftist tactics. I wouldn't call her a leftist. That's kind of a catch-all. But this is just about people who aren't in the know, people who aren't in the weeds. Now, just because you are in the weeds doesn't mean you're automatically right. And in fact, a lot of times it's the complete opposite. But you can still formulate your arguments and then determine, okay, that is a good argument or a bad argument. But when you just have no idea and you just kind of have these vague, nebulous ideas that you heard in passing, this is what happens to you. Watch again. Oh, what the fuck?
I think percentage of men from the military discharge who get PTSD, it's in the single digits. For women, it's over 10. So it's not an attack on their character. These are statistical realities.
But also it's
not even a breath.
kind of the fact that...
Without even a thought! She didn't even have anything to say! She didn't even have anything to say. Yet she didn't want to listen to what Crowder was saying, and she wanted to speak without having anything to say.
Not just the combat issue, but it's also the fact of other men in the military taking a stance against that woman. It's...
I don't think that's what it is.
I think
men are animals, and women need to deal with being animals. If they're in a foxhole with animals, they got to be an animal. And women aren't.
All right, here's another one. I remember this from when I watched it before. So we're using the analogy of, hey, when it comes down to it, it's not about being fair. It's not about being nice. It's about what needs to be done. When you're in the animal kingdom and you're in battle, and where does she go with it?
I think that's where it's we're humans. That's
no. Wait. Are you telling me she is telling me that we're humans? Oh my God! Call the papers! We're humans, guys! It's called an analogy. Well, first, we're humans.
I think that's where it's we're humans. That's what. We're humans. Don't compare anybody to an animal, because we're not.
In wartime, you need to be a beast.
I get it. But
do you though? I get it that it's just a comparison, and the topic that we're talking about runs through in both situations, and so because they're analogous, we can talk about one without degrading any. It's just a theoretical thought exercise. I get that, but we're not animals.
But I'm just saying, like, I don't think that's a correct way to describe or build a conversation of, well, this is a war is war. War is a...
Now we're on war is war. So the questions that have not been answered. How does a lower standard help keep people safe? What was the other one? I don't even remember. I don't even remember. And now we're, she's moved on from you're insulting women to you're comparing humans to animals, and that's just bad, full stop, to now, well, war is war.
A mental game, physiological game of
A what game? A what game? That I don't think that's what that word is.
war is war. War is a mental game, physiological game of
A physical game.
combat strategies, all that. So you have to be smart, you have to think quick, and I get it. Yes, there's a physical factor. Just
Okay,
as some
some
men cannot handle it.
I agree.
Just as there are some women who
Now we're talking about the men who can't handle it. See, the point here of this particular stream is not that if you were to get into a debate with this woman, that you would be, that she would dunk on you. No, you wouldn't be able to even get that far because your fucking brain would explode at the bullshit. Like, what are you even talking about, lady? But as long as you understand what is happening, then you can identify it. You're like, oh, okay. I see what's going on here. You're dumb.
cannot handle it. There are women who can handle it, and there are men who can handle it.
There are very few women who can. A lot of men can. So very few women who can. A lot of men can.
What statistic or what percentage of women who cannot handle?
Why? Again, this is the type of thing. Normally, when you're in the zone, you may have that answer. You may have that answer. I think it's something like 89%, 88% of women can't surpass the original military requirements. How does that do anything to your argument? How does that do anything to your position? Oh, it's 82? I thought it was 73. Okay, well, that changes things because
The military.
Yeah, so when they had we have such little data on, for example, the standards in the Army where you had to do a certain amount of pull-ups, certain amount of push-ups, certain amount of sit-ups. You had to do your run, depending on...
Oh, so you don't have all the answers? See, I thought you knew everything. See, this is just your opinion. This is all bullshit.
the year, how many miles, you had to meet a certain time. Single-digit percentage of women who could make it. Okay.
What is that number, though?
So the number was between 1 and 5.
Okay.
Okay.
Again, well, what is that number? How does that help your argument? How does that? All you're doing is just talking to talk. All you're just doing is buying time to figure out if you can get him to say something where, well, we're humans. We're not animals. That's what you're doing.
But it's a really small sample pool because to get women in combat roles, it only started when they immediately lowered the PT requirements. So we lowered them to the point where, okay, no more push-ups, for example, in the Army, no more pull-ups at all. You could do a leg tuck. Too many women failed that, so they could do a plank. In the Marines, women can do half as many pull-ups, achieve a perfect score. And then what happened is a lot of women were complaining because they felt singled out, because they had a standard for men and they had a standard for women.
Yep.
Women were still failing.
So not only did everything change for women specifically, but now, because everybody knows things were changed and everybody knows things are different, then obviously, just like affirmative action, it's like, well, clearly I don't belong here. Clearly, I just did the girl push-ups. Clearly, I just did the plank. I don't know about you, but I can certainly think of, some roided up military type who wouldn't be too happy about that and might do something untoward. And go ahead and look at the numbers of untoward behavior in the military if you think that's a stretch.
They created a gender neutral test. That was the same test for men and women, kind of between the two standards, which I disagree with. I think it should be the higher standard. Less than 10% of men failed, 65% of women failed. So 55 to 65% failed a gender neutral test designed to accommodate women. There is no way to lower the standards anymore and still have women in physical combat roles. We have lowered the standards of physical combat readiness to a degree that frankly is embarrassing to accommodate women, and the majority of them still fail.
And so this was the original argument, not to mention the original solution that she gave. saying that if we have one standard, raise the standard back up to what is actually needed for the job, and everybody has to pass that. They both agreed. They agreed on that. But this conversation is still happening because to agree with Steven Crowder, black girl under 25 agreeing with a white man who carries around a gun? I don't know. Whoa. So she just keeps talking, and finds something to make him a bad person. Not that he has bad arguments, because he doesn't. He doesn't have bad arguments. And if she were a better person, she'd be able to, oh, okay, I didn't know those things. Thank you for that information. But because she feels entitled to be right about everything, and she feels entitled to win the argument, we get this.
And assuming that I'm not lying, right? And I would encourage you to go do the research on the PT requirements.
Oh, yeah, she's that type of person. So she, even though she has no idea what she's talking about, and she's wearing an AC/DC shirt, only knowing black and black, she's the type of person who likes to do her own research.
Sounds to me like you and I agree. Sounds to me like you and I agree there should be one standard. It should be a stringent standard, right? Because they're going out to war. And if you're a man and you fail, you don't make it. And if you're a woman and you fail, you don't make it. Will we both agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I just think that.
But that's not.
So you agree. I just think that don't care. Unless you disagree, then the point of this conversation is changing Crowder's mind about whether or not there should be women in in combat roles. So if you agree with him, then I just think that, like, where is that going? Oh, I didn't even look. I gotta check this out. Let's see. So far, we got 50-50 saying we could handle her without flipping out. And that sounds about right. I know there's a couple of you here who'd be able to do it, but she's a tough one. Because, she just, as we were saying, she said, yes, I agree, but there's more. So let's see what there's more is.
And you fail, you don't make it. Will we both agree on that?
Yeah.
Conversation over. We both agree on that? Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. Shake hands. Get up. All right.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I just think that.
But that's not the law. We have a separate standard for women, and it's much, much lower, which I would argue is sexist. So we both agree. The only issue is I think you're not fully familiar with the new military policy. You disagree with military policy, and so do I. I think we would be in the same boat, saying, well, why are we having separate standards?
I just think
that's the most polite way to say, I just don't think you know what the fuck you're talking about, bitch. I don't think you're up to date on the latest military policies.
I think it's where you single out.
Again, talking just to talk. She doesn't have a point. She doesn't have a thing that she's trying to get out. It's not that she's being very deliberate about her words. Remember when Elon Musk went on to the Joe Rogan Experience, and Rogan would ask him a question, and then Elon would sit back and say, well, there's a lot. And he would just talk like that the whole time. Super slow motion. That's because he's got a lot going on, and he has to filter all of that and say whatever is relevant. She is the complete opposite, where she's trying to talk, but she doesn't have anything going on up here to come out of her mouth.
Like, well, women.
Because it's a different standard for women.
My thing is like this. It's someone's dream to serve their country rather.
If it's somebody's dream to serve their country, you should die because they can't save you in battle, because it's her dream. What?
But let's not just talk about the military. Let's talk about the police force.
Sure.
Let's talk about the police force.
There are a lot, especially in Dallas, Denton County, there are a lot of women in the police force.
Are there, though?
That have made it through, become chief, has
Lower standards.
Yep.
I don't think so.
Yes.
Because
Stop saying that. You don't think so based on what? What is it that you do think? So you're not actually expressing the sentiment that actually goes with, I don't think so. What you're saying is, I don't like how that sounds. This is the semantic obfuscation of people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, but feel like they have to argue.
But if they are assuming, you can say you don't think so, but respectfully, if it is the fact, and you're looking and going, hey, there's a male police officer and there's a female police officer.
Yeah, it's indie film's dream to be an astronaut. So who cares about the other astronauts that would be on the ship? Come on, I'm still here. Hang on. Struggle streaming. What is going on with the internet? All right, give me a minute here. I mean, why is it a thing to have the Ethernet connected? Yeah, no freedoms. It's probably your fault for all that shit you be talking. I don't know what to do here. What is happening? But yeah, and of course everybody's gone. Great, wonderful. Everything is fine. I don't know what to do. Give me 2 seconds here. We're gonna see if we can figure this out, guys. Thank you for sticking with me. I do very much appreciate it. Well, we're experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties. You know, I mean, what do you think that she's gonna say as she is bringing up the cops? What do you think? Again, what do you think she is going to be able to change by bringing up the cops? In what way is that any different? Still go. I don't know what is going on here. This always and everybody's gone. This might be the end of this. Oh, resolving problems. Hold on. Resolving problems. Stick with me, guys, please. Please don't leave me. Come on. Nobody has any idea what she would say? What do you think she's going to say about the cops? What do you mean, bro? I am the tech generation. Who do you think taught everybody in my household how to do anything on the internet? My brother was too old by the time that stuff was coming out. Okay, here we go. My sister was too young. My parents are boomers. I am the internet generation. The tech generation. All right. Well, we're on Wi-Fi, so hopefully that works. Yeah. So Indie Film says she diverts to BLM and needing more social workers, i.e., women. So where we left off, she was talking like, okay, let's get away from the military and talk about the cops. All right, so that should be.
But she only has to be half as capable.
That's a problem. It's not an accomplishment. I don't care if it's her dream. She's going to run into a guy my size on PCP. She'll get hurt. And statistically, she is more likely to get hurt. That's my issue. They're more and the guy next to her is more likely to be hurt.
I don't think this is.
I just reread this. I mean, I was on my phone. I couldn't really see it, and I'm trying to deal with that. Yes, I am part of the tech generation. That does not mean, though, that when your computer just decides to disconnect from the internet, that you have the answers to do that. I'm running the network diagnostics. We're on Wi-Fi right now, which hopefully won't cut out, but
This is my thing. I don't think that it should be someone else. Now, if the government makes a ruling saying whatever, that's fine. But I don't think as people in a society where our police force or our military is being questioned,
nobody fucking liked the video.
Women, I think that you should stand by that person. Be like, if a woman in the military or the police force is there and you see something going on, okay, that's their job. For one, that's their job. They get paid to do that. So it's not.
What? Let's talk about the police for a moment. Okay. All right. So now we're talking about the police. Ramble. Well, first of all, what was all the things you said before, first of all? Well, first of all, it's their job. Okay. I would like them to be able to perform their job.
I don't think that it's you have the right to think whatever you want, but I don't think you should be able to really question whether that person is doing their job capable when you haven't put yourself on that line or have not experienced what they're doing.
Spit it out.
Qualified.
And
that's not me calling their character into question.
I don't think you're right.
But you just agreed with me that we should. You just say reality isn't reality. That's reality.
Then show me the statistics.
What? Oh, I love that. I love that it goes there. Yeah. Are we back with Ethernet? All right, we're back with the Ethernet. Okay. Okay. I wasn't paying attention. Let me back this up for 1 second.
I think you're right.
But you just agreed with me that we should have the same standard.
I believe that
we should have the same standard.
Yes.
The police force, we should have a lower standard for women.
There is no lower standard.
There is.
Deny. Or as Kevin Samuels like to say, sign language, shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. We've just had this conversation already, sweetie. But you've just decided in your own mind, because it doesn't fit with what you think, that that's not the truth. And for you and so many others, that is more than enough. That's more than enough.
We're not going to have a conversation if you just say reality isn't reality. That's reality.
Then show me the statistics.
We're back here.
That's my thing. I'm not going to believe a single word you're saying until I see the paper or I see the statistics in front of my face.
Why? You don't have to completely accept everything, but to assume that what he's saying is equal to. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out my whole setup here. But everything he's saying to you is equal to the knowledge you have, which is zero, at least. It's either as dumb as you are right now, or it's at least one step above. So why would you purposely say, I'm not going to listen to new information? Why? I'll tell you why. Because that is the tactic. That is how she's still sitting at this table. She already said that she agrees with Crowder twice.
Okay.
So.
And we have them, the third-party references, but these are all linking. You can see kind of where they're linking to as far as studies.
Got him!
So the Army scrapped a gender-neutral test due to women failing at 6 times higher rate than men. You can find this at U.S. News and Committee later. You can find the studies. Okay. The Army eliminated pull-ups in 1980, sit-ups in 2020, push-ups in 2020. Females can do half as many pull-ups to get a perfect score. So
now that she's got the stats, I knew, because I mean I've seen a million of these before. I knew he always has a binder of stuff there. That was what convinced me when he did the Schmashwarshen one. That is what convinced me that life begins at conception. Because before that, I had the more liberal position that maybe like viability or heartbeat or something like that. And he was at someone else or someone who was at the table expressed a similar thing, and he pulled out the chart and he's like, okay, so show me on this development chart, like had a bunch of pictures of babies or fetuses at different stages of development. And either people were unwilling, either people were unwilling to give an answer, or they gave an answer that was different than everybody else who gave an answer, which makes it what? Arbitrary. So now that we've 3 times, show me the statistics, show me the sources, show me this. Okay. What do you think this does to her argument? What is it that you were expecting to happen with sources?
In the military, integrated units. All male units demonstrated higher performance levels on 93 of 134 compared to gender integrated units. Gender integrated units performed.
Guys, actually, can you do me a favor? Especially since the whole stream just stopped and everybody left. If you could do me a favor, just take the URL, post it on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or something. Just one thing. It doesn't matter what it says. Just do me a favor. It takes 2 seconds and it would really, 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 really help me. Please. I was doing well. Wednesday nights are my night. Then it cut out and everybody left. So if we can get some people back in here, that would be awesome. Not that I don't love you guys. I am very glad and very appreciative that you stayed and hung out. Freedom says, women who get the procedure are murderers. Nothing new there. Fair enough.
Better than male units on only 2 events. I actually need to correct myself because earlier I think I said 4 events.
Uh-oh, he was wrong. See, you don't even know your own sources. You think you know everything, but when it comes to the sources, you were wrong. That's why she's still talking. She's looking for something like that.
I was overly generous. Increased violence. And this is something where you can actually find, it's tough with police, unlike the military with police forces because it's more municipal. So they have different databases. So give me some grace for that. Increasing the number of female officers by 1 percentage point.
Oh, this is not knowing how I thought it would.
Increases the number of assaults on police by 15 to 19%.
Okay.
So this is what we're coming down to. These numbers are irrefutable. We have the physical standard numbers. We also have the bone mineral density numbers. We have the fact that women, unfortunately suffer bone fractures at a much higher rate in the military. And
so again, now we have all this information she's been asking for. Show me the statistics. Show me the studies. Show me the sources. Okay. How does this advance what you were saying? Let's find out.
That women and also their brothers.
Spoiler alert. It doesn't.
Other arms, the men near them are more likely to be the victim of violent attack.
Okay.
And a big part of that is because criminals know, unfortunately, they can overpower women because male criminals are often stronger than women.
That's sexist!
Especially when you add to the component illegal stimulants. And that leaves everyone less safe. So these are the stats, and they will be made publicly available, assuming that I am not lying and that we have a double standard and one that is incredibly low for women to meet. Assuming that this is true, you now have the stats in front of your face. We agreed before that it should be one standard, and you either meet it or you don't.
Which is, again, why I don't understand why you are asking for sources when you agree with the statement. Now, Freedom says, you do realize women see facts as kryptonite. Well, as long as they go against her truth. Facts are not good, but her truth, that stuff. As long as they go in line, then they love facts. They love facts about how astrology can do this, that. They love facts about how crystals represent this. They love facts about what burning sage can do. Because it goes in line with my truth.
Do we still both agree on that?
Yes.
So why are we still talking? Third time they've agreed on the original position that women should not be in combat roles based on the standards that we have today. But she can't accept that. She can't accept having a conversation with another adult and walking away with more information than she had before, being a better person than she was before. She's got to dunk on somebody. She's got to win. That's what it's all about. And so again, this is why I titled it this way, is that I want you guys to understand that people are sometimes purposely, but very often not. Very often, just due to the lack of understanding and the self-awareness and that level of entitlement. They will do this not because they're trying to be antagonistic, not because they're trying to be anything. This is what they see as intellectually honest conversation. So to any of those out here who aren't in the weeds with politics or culture or philosophy and have had a conversation with me about one of those things, and I happen to have known a lot more than you just because I have taken the time to learn more than you, I'm sorry that made you feel bad. I am not sorry for knowing more than you. I am not sorry for being correct. When I'm wrong, I'll be sorry for that. And I always am. As long as you can prove it.
Okay, that's what I want to see legislatively, because right now it's not. Right now there's a double standard, one for men, one for women. And I think, I don't know if you've ever competed in athletics at all.
Yes.
What sports did you?
Volleyball and soccer.
Let's just do this. A new poll. I specifically want to ask, something that I don't maybe want to say out loud. Actually, based on her looks, we have a new poll here. And I'm just curious what you guys think. We're not talking about reasons. We're not talking about anything else. Just a plain yes or no. So she said she did volleyball and soccer.
Did you have knee surgeries?
No.
Oh, good. You're lucky. Every girl I know who did volleyball have had horrible knee surgeries.
Answer the poll. Answer the poll, please.
It's tough on the body. It's incredibly difficult sport. We look for...
Whoa. Where's the poll? Where's the poll? See, that's the type of shit where you guys be like, oh, okay. Word.
For example...
Never mind.
Obviously, there's a difference between men and women. Would we agree there's a reason that they're separated?
I mean, I've competed in co-ed.
Oh, my God. Can you just answer a question? Can we agree?
And I've competed in just female sports. And honestly, the co-ed one...
That was not the question! Let's go back again. What was the question? For the fourth time? Fifth time?
When we look, for example, at sports.
We have a direct question.
Obviously, there's a difference between men and women. Would we agree there's a reason that they're separated?
I mean, I've competed in...
The question was, is there a reason that sports are separated by gender? And her answer?
Co-ed, and I've competed in just female sports. And honestly, the co-ed one, for me, was more fun.
Was it? Aww. That's not really relevant to what we're talking about. Sports, again, just like the animals, sports is an analogy. Remember, the prompt was about combat roles and violence. So what does you having fun have to do with anything? Well, actually, yeah. Let's get that back up. That kryptonite is really something. It was more fun.
It
I bet it was. I bet it was. Why? Because they don't do co-ed sports after a certain age. It was fun because you were a child.
I feel like with sports is different because
Yes, that is, again, what is meant by an analogy.
at least with soccer, for example, women are very more competitive.
Women are more competitive in soccer. So I kind of have an idea of where this line of thinking would come from. That across the world, when it comes to soccer, and I may be incorrect about this. See, I made that caveat because this is a thing that I think, and I'm just saying things. I don't have proof, but hedging my bet. It seems like around the world, American women, or women who play for the American team, I don't know exactly how that works, but American women seem to be better at soccer than women of other countries in comparison to how the men's soccer team does against other men's teams. And that would, if that is the case, that would come down directly to things like training and getting the best, like, cryo healing and all that kind of stuff. Because obviously we're not talking about the top tiers, but I'm sure you know where this is going. But I won't spoil it for you. She said, let's back that up. I cannot even. And if you're just joining us, we are taking a good look at how leftists, liberals, and anyone else who is not really engaged in politics still feels like they know everything. They will sit down at a table with you and spout BS all day because they think they know things that they don't know. Now, Freedom says American women's soccer sucks ass. What do you expect when most women can't even play soccer around the world? It's like the WNBA, probably best to compare to other countries. Well, that's exactly what I was saying here. Is that any film? I'm there. He's about to talk about that. But that's exactly what I was saying. Is that around the world it seems like, less common for women to be playing sports at that level in general. And so if in America we have the luxury of a professional national team, then yeah, it's going to be better than, I don't know, random country who doesn't have a lot of women who have a lot of rights. Maybe they're more concerned about that, as should you, Miss Feminist, rather than, I had more fun in the co-ed. Co-ed. It's just, it's ridiculous. So, yeah, any film says soccer player here. A boys under 15 beat the women's national team twice. Not once, but twice.
I feel like with sports is different because at least with soccer, for example, women are very more competitive. At least from when I played.
At least, and there's the hedge. Well, it's my truth. It's my truth that the women that I played with were way more competitive with me than the men who I wasn't playing with. So women must be more competitive.
And it's very, very much just like football for men. Soccer is very much a contact sport for females, and it's
but not for men. For men, you can't touch another man. Now, this is really apparent in lacrosse. For those of you who don't know, women's lacrosse and men's lacrosse are basically two different sports. Let's just get a picture real quick for those who don't know, because I played lacrosse. I mean, in middle school, I was really good at defense. So obviously, being tiny, then by the time I got to high school, it just wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't a thing. But you can see that. So you can see here. Let's just get rid of that. With the women. Actually, let's do that. With the women, how do I? Not only is you can see it in this one too. This is a very shallow. The net itself is very shallow. That's one thing. Then you see on her head, she's only wearing goggles, no helmet, no anything. She's not wearing any elbow pads. She's not wearing any shoulder pads. She's not wearing any chest protection. These gloves are not padded. And she doesn't have any forearm guards, right? So then, why do I keep trying to scroll like this is my phone? We go over to the men. And just from the picture, you can see the lacrosse ball is, I believe, the same size. I believe it's the same size. And you can see that there's a much bigger pocket here. And that's because it's a much faster game. Then we go over and we look at that helmet. Look at that helmet. Look at these gloves. Look at the padding in these gloves versus this. My winter gloves that I just use for the cold are thicker than that. Then we've got the forearm, the elbow, the chest pads, and so on and so forth. And then if the goalie is in the picture, which I don't believe he is, then that's the only place where women even wear protection. And the reason I'm saying that is not to put down women at all. I think lacrosse is an awesome sport, men or women. But the idea that women's sports in any realm is harder, stronger, faster, anything is ignorant. It is ignorant. It's blatantly naive. Now, Freedom says this reminds me of when console gamers. Okay, here we go. I'm just saying, I'm not a gamer, so if this is one of those things, then go after him. Excuse me. No, Freedom says this reminds me when console gamers think they are the best in the world until they go on PC, or better yet, they get the money to play online with other players. Yeah, that's me. That's me. I will beat the campaign of Call of Duty. Be like, yeah, on easy mode. Be like, yeah, I fucking rock at this shit. And then I'll try to go into some game and just die immediately 7 times in a row. I'm like, this isn't as much fun. I'm gonna go back to the campaign. But that's what we're talking about here. That's what we're talking about here. It's very much a contact sport. Any sport that has contact is more of a contact sport with men. Not because men are better people, more worthy. It is because there is simply more mass and speed involved in that contact. That's it. It's basic science. Basic science.
Football for men, soccer is very much a contact sport for females, and it's very rough playing out there.
And she's not wrong. It is very rough. Just not as rough as the men's. And I would say specifically in World Cup soccer that I've seen, I'm not a very big soccer fan, but I will say I definitely see a lot more flopping from the men. Do it that way you will.
The women's national team, they lose to high school boys every year.
Like the U.S. national team of soccer.
Yes.
And she's laughing. She's laughing because it's so ridiculous to her. This actual well-documented fact is so outside of her truth that she's laughing. She's laughing. The U.S. national team lost to a 15-year-old? No. Not the next thing you're going to tell me is that Serena Williams lost in tennis to the 200-ranked guy while he was drunk. I mean, come on. What are we doing here? Are we having a serious conversation or not?
Like the U.S. national team of soccer.
Yes.
The one
high school boys.
The one that got a world championship.
Again, just talking to talk. We have, how many U.S. national teams are there? Why are you still asking questions? Instead of being like, oh, damn, I didn't know that. That's it. That is how you win this exchange, m'lady. At this point, That is your only option to win if you need to think of it and live in that context where every interaction that you have with another person is a battle. Which I would think you would be better at doing if that was how you live your life, but that's neither here nor there.
Championship before the men.
And I do mean neither, yeah, all that. Shout out to AJW.
They lose to high school boys.
Okay. I haven't seen it, but
now take that
show it
and add gun.
Did she really just ask? Did we lose the count? Did she really just ask for proof of that again? No way. No way.
High school boys.
Okay. I haven't seen it, but
now take that
show it
and add gun.
I haven't seen it, but if you show it, Google it.
And perps on PCP.
If you show it to me, then I'll see it.
Oh, sure. Just search women's national soccer team.
Again, this is show me the sources. That type of stuff is relevant when you have sources that say XYZ and the other person's saying, no, I've studied this as ABC. Okay, let me see this. Why? So that I can look at the study and determine, well, okay, what was the sample size? What was the methodology? How was, if it's a questionnaire, how were the questions phrased? What was the demographics? These things matter. She doesn't know that. She just knows that asking for sources is a gotcha. Except with Crowder.
Do you want me to do it? If you bring it up on your phone.
I don't have my phone with me.
Oh, I don't have my phone with me. How convenient.
I'm sure I can bring it up. Women's national soccer team. So it's just, and I appreciate you asking. I'm glad that you're actually questioning.
Like, to think the guy would come out here with such an easily falsifiable claim and just blatantly lie about it on his own show. What do you think this is, CNN?
Questioning it, but I don't know if I have good reception here. So look, you can see me typing this in.
Yes.
Women's, I'll just type in soccer team.
Probably gets autofilled.
Soccer team, high school boys, okay? If we have reception here. FC Dallas under 15 boys squad. This is from CBS Sports. Beat the U.S. women's national team. And this is not a singular event. It occurs all the time. Now.
And you, again, is she going to say, wow, I didn't, this is something that clearly is going on. You definitely know your stuff here. Maybe I've got some homework to do. Or is she going to find some other way? I don't specifically remember how long she is going to continue this conversation. But something tells me she's going to keep digging for something. Because at the end of all of this, if she gets him to say something that she can twist as racist or transphobic or sexist or this or that or whatever, well, then she wins. Then she wins. It's not about having better ideas. It's about winning.
They still are impressive for women. But they're not men. They're not even high school boys. Take that, add the consequences of death or subduing a man here, for example, in the area of Dallas, late at night.
Well, but co-ed's more fun.
That's catastrophic for women. I don't think that's progress.
And men.
I think we agree. I just want the policy to reflect that. We should have standards that are difficult, right? That are certainly high if we're talking about people in physical roles that require physically extraordinary capabilities. Whether you're a man or a woman, you pass it, or you don't. And then we would look at the real world data and see how it plays out.
Guys, if you haven't already, please just slam that like button and let the algorithm know you are enjoying this so we can get more people up in here. As much as I love you guys, we need to grow this shit. Help me out. Thank you.
There in the field. That is all I'm asking. Right now, we are doing the opposite of that as a matter of policy. And that leads to, unfortunately, women in compromised situations and the victims of violence.
I guess my question is,
what? Okay. I was gonna let's calm down. She said she has a question. Questions are fair. Let's not be dicks here. Okay. She said she has a question. What's her question?
in this argument, because I've heard not just you, and I'm not, what I'm trying, I'm not trying to just base your argument off other arguments
Spit it out!
that I've had
No,
with
no,
other
I
people.
understand.
But when I hear some of these other arguments, it's in the betterment of women, or in a kind of a sexist role. Women shouldn't be in these roles because it is a man's job. Why? I guess besides the statistics and besides you feel like women get hurt, men get hurt. What is the true point of this?
No, I don't feel.
There is no true point beside the points that are the points. The point is that it's less fair, it's less safe, people will die. That is the point. She's like, okay, well, let's say, okay, it is unfair, and more people will die, and women will get injured more often, and criminals who need to be apprehended, who are on amphetamines, who might otherwise be able to be subdued by a male officer, now we're going to get shot, because what else is a woman supposed to do? But what is the real point? Because remember, co-ed soccer was fun.
They do.
We could disagree or agree.
No, we can't
on that
disagree.
one.
Just like we can't disagree that 15-year-old boys beat the women's national team. There's no disagreement. It's the truth.
Anyway,
Well, you told me you didn't think it was true.
okay. You gonna let me? Are you gonna let me finish?
Well, I know, but I'm saying
Finish what? You're not saying anything.
there's disagreeing and there's truth, right? We need to agree on objective
I let you
truth.
speak.
Go ahead.
That's another leftist tactic, is that when you are in a normal conversation, it's usually not like a structured political debate where you have your time, and then you have your time, and then you have your time, and then you have your time. That's not how normal conversations work. Now, there's a back and forth, and sometimes, there'll be a little bit of overlap. For the most part, you don't want to be interrupting somebody. But if you're about to give me this 10-minute diatribe on how atheists are wrong because they can't prove that God doesn't exist, it makes sense for me to be like, oh, hold on, wait, that's not what atheists believe, because that is relevant to what you're about to say. And so getting indignant, well, like, I let you talk. Can I finish? I don't know, bitch, can you? You haven't finished a single sentence. You haven't finished a single solution. You haven't given any point, any claim, or anything. You're just saying things.
Okay, you showed me the statistics. You showed me the soccer. It's on the news. It's on public information where I can go look it up and go see.
Sure.
Okay. So we agree that all of the things that you questioned are now answered. All right.
I'm not disagreeing that.
Okay.
But besides the point of those statistics, what is it? Just the biological anatomy of women that you?
The biological anatomy of women. Well, first of all, yes. But second of all, you know why you're asking that question. Exactly what I said before. The only way to win at this point is to make it clear that I took on a evil, white, racist, sexist pig, Republican, and I took him down and showed him for who he really is. Is it just like the biological anatomy of women that you don't like? No, I said I love that shit.
You believe that should not be in combat? Rather, it's like you said the bone density. They're more. You said something
Strength, bone density, endurance, anaerobic capacity,
fast twitch muscle fibers,
ability to perform reflexively under stress. Any physical metric that you can use to apply to the most effective fighting force, the vast majority of women fail miserably in comparison to men.
And what does that compare to other countries?
Why does that matter? These are the tactics. These are the tactics. Obfuscating the argument, obfuscating the meaning of words, whatever they got to change around. Reality, truth, facts, as No Freedom says, and this is not just for women, but there's plenty of dudes out there who talk exactly like this. This is not a woman thing. She happens to be a woman. This is just a matter of people who are are just self-aware. It's not about expecting everybody to know everything about everything. It's about not feeling like you are qualified to speak on something you are clearly not, because you clearly have not done any research. And then you feel entitled to knock down other people's research. Like, again, just from a strictly content creator point of view, if I'm I don't know how old he is. Let's call him 40s, early 40s. I don't know, something like that. Let's say a 43-year-old man with a successful YouTube channel, a successful platform. You think I'm going to go to a college and lie to a college student to make myself look good so that I can post that lie that anybody who hates me, and there are plenty of people who hate Crowder, can go and debunk him? Like, how dare you say that? They could be a woman trapped in the man's body. Well, she said she. So, or she answered to she. Her name's Anaya. So, I don't know, man. I don't know how to deal with all this gender bender bullshit. But you're right. You're right.
I haven't looked up all of the other countries, but
yeah. So her question was, okay, well, what about other countries' militaries? And again, the question is, why is that a relevant question? If we were in court, Crowder's lawyer could be, objection, relevance. The judge would be like, yeah, you're right. This is completely irrelevant to what we're talking about. Indie Film said, hey, but I saw a Discovery Channel show about these Amazon women like thousands of years ago. It was a whole tribe of them. So there's that. Indeed, there is that.
If you believe that, for example, a Lithuanian woman is much stronger than an American woman and the men are weaker and that differential is closed, I would be very hard-pressed to believe it.
No. Even Crowder is, I have to imagine that he's just so blown away that, like, what kind of stupid question is that? If we looked at different countries and we saw the disparities between men and women were different, would that change the point that we want a standard to be the same for both? Of course not. Of course not. So what are you talking about?
Because I'm saying, like you have the statistics for our military. Have you done your research on our military versus other military?
Have you?
Either women or men.
Well, it's a very large sample size, so why would that change anything? And as it relates to our military, I think the stats are enough. Reality is enough.
I'm saying, like, comparative to English military, where they have women in combat too.
Yeah.
I'm guessing what I'm saying is, where does that stand? Where does that stand?
What?
It's the same rule. I would say you still need to have the same standards.
I'm not saying the different standards, or I'm saying, like,
look at that face. This is the oh, I feel his pain. Because again, as a content creator, I understand that this is probably one of the least informed. Notice I did not talk about her intelligence. I said least informed people who is not being combative that he's ever had to deal with in this segment. And so he's just like, honey, I don't know how else to say this. But you're just wrong. That's it. You're just wrong.
Statistically, where are they at? Where you do your research and you comparatively compare it to others.
Yeah.
So this is where you need to ask that question. How does that change the topic of whether or not women should be in combat roles? Bring it back home. Bring it back to the conversation.
That's where my question is.
Yeah, I would imagine that they also have lowered their physical standards. They either have a lower standard for women or they've created a gender-neutral test so women can pass. And I would be willing to bet my life that far fewer women pass than men on standards of physical rigor across the world.
Well, maybe you should do your research and compare it to...
The audacity. The audacity. She didn't know. I mean, really anything. But she didn't even know that one of the most popular uses of disparity between men and women is talking about the women's soccer team and how they regularly get beat by high school teams. And then we get this attitude.
And then on standards of physical rigor across the world.
Well, maybe you should do your research and compare it to the United States. That's my only thing. Is like when people give these statistics.
Well, why? Why should I? Okay, fair. I should compare it to the United States and get all these other questions. So if I were to do that, what is it that you think that I would find or might find that would change any of this? That's like having this conversation and being like, well, do you know how men and women do on YouTube? No. We weren't really talking about that. Well, maybe you should do your research on that before you talk about something completely different, which you have researched. What are you saying? And you sound, dude, she just won the bam, bam, bam emotional. Oh. Bam, 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 bam. Emotional damage.
Because I'm dealing with American policy.
I know, but
and we agree on the American policy of being silly.
Yes! 3 times! 3 times you agreed! 3 times you agreed! You said, yes, I agree!
Having a lower standard for women is wrong.
There should be one standard.
Right. That is agreeing! What are we doing? This is what they'll do. This is what they'll do. They'll use their stupidity against your knowledge. And it makes you want to bash your face into a wall. But, like I always say, if you don't try to win the argument and you just have the conversation, you will always come out a winner. That doesn't mean you're always going to be right. But there can be 2 winners to a conversation. Because not every conversation has to be a competition.
Right.
We agree on that. I don't think it's silly. Now, yes, I think there should be reform. Yes. But
so I don't think it's silly. I just think it should be reformed. Semantics.
Rather that reform comes in the next 5 years or so, we don't know. Statistically, what you've shown me, it looks like yes, we need to reform sooner than later, but that's not up to us.
Isn't it though? Who's it up to? I'm This is America. Right? So maybe she's going to talk about the deep state and, things like how when Biden talked about how we would take action if China, invaded Taiwan. And then the White House put out a statement that said, oh, no, that's not what we meant. Maybe that's what she's going to maybe that's just what she's leading up to. Some deep state, near conspiracy level, in the weeds, based shit. Maybe that's what's coming up. So let's see. She's talking about the time frame. So maybe she's got some tie-ins with some shady figures. I'm putting a lot of faith in Anaya here. Let's go, Anaya. You got this.
Looks like yes, we need to reform.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Don't do this to me.
Looks like yes, we need to reform sooner than later, but that's not up to us.
Yes, it is. It's exactly up to us. It's exactly up to us. That's my point. It's up to you.
You don't have to get close.
Shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. This is sign language. You just made a blatantly false statement. Did he look? Bitch, yes, we fucking did it. That's not what he said. That's not what he said. Let's take a look again. Exactly how close did he get here? Is this warranted? Because, hey, maybe he didn't even mean to. Maybe he was just excited and he was like, "What? I get kind of physical when I talk." So maybe we did get a little close, and maybe she took it the wrong way. They're obviously sitting here having a debate, and she's not doing well. So Let's take another look just to be sure.
It's exactly up to us.
So he's sitting like this, and he went to that. Bury him under the prison! That's assault! And Freedom says, and this is why I don't trust women. I don't trust women or want to work around them. And I don't, gotcha. I don't trust women and don't, no, Freedom says, want to work around them. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. I do not blame you. But this is the distance. And this is a camera is angled. So obviously, you know, if we're over here and you see this much space, like if you come, you know, that's going to widen as you are more square. Well, let's see.
That's my point. It's up to you.
You don't have to get close.
It's up to both of us.
Okay.
You're an
that's how you handle that. That's how you handled. And he said he actually just kind of moved down a little bit. He never even moved past the microphone. Neither here nor there, because of course it was bullshit. They're just sitting having a conversation. He's like, again, if he'd gotten up in her face, see, I fucking told you, then that would be different. But of course, that's not what happened. But listen to how he masterfully handles that. This is where I would have lost it. This is where I would have lost it. I would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's where I would have, this is where I would have lost it. But listen to how he handles it.
It's up to you. Yes, it is. It's exactly up to us. It's exactly up to us.
So again, that's the lean in. So he definitely leans in a little bit.
My point. It's up to you.
First that. So, you know, we were here, and then he was here. That's, you know, not nothing. I mean, it kind of is nothing, but it's technically movement.
You don't have to get close.
It's up to both of us.
Okay.
Like water off a duck's back. You want to accuse me of some bullshit? Nah, B. Nah, B. I see what you're trying to do. I'm playing polite. I'm playing professional, but I see exactly what is going on here. And I see that you are doing anything you can to try to make this into a hostile conversation so that you can say, Steven Crowder and his... Just don't even talk about it. Just brush right by it.
Up to us. That's my point. It's up to you.
You don't have to get close.
It's up to both of us.
Okay.
Boom.
You're an American citizen.
Yeah.
Boom. She thought he was going to bite. She thought he was going to bite. Now she doesn't even know what to do.
I can vote. Right? The policy right now is lower standards for women because the government believes that women are so incapable they need to have such low physical standards applied. So if you disagree with that, then I think it is up to us.
I mean, like, yes, but is it up to enforce it? That's up to the top people.
Nobody changing the goalpost, moving the goalpost. Did we say it's up to us to change the laws or to enforce the laws? Are those the same thing or are they different things? I think they're different things. Moving the goalpost.
That's them. And whether they see the statistics or not and decide to put that on the ballot,
They won't unless they have to answer to you and me. That's why I'm doing this. I don't believe that we should just defer to the elites in power. I don't know if you know, but the elites in power have done horrible things. They've been racist. They actually have been sexist. I would argue their military standards now are sexist. It only changes from the ground up.
It's people like her that are the useful idiots. Well, they like Ethan Klein. You don't even have to think about it. There's a whole government agency that just does it for you. You don't have to think about anything. This is why people like us who actually care, who actually pay attention, do need to stand up, do need to actually speak out, do actually need to take the time to engage with people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Because there's way more of them than there are of us. There's way more of them than there are of us, and there is only one way to change that. To attack their ideas, and only their ideas.
We have to hold them accountable.
Yep.
They're not going to be held accountable until people like you and myself, if we agree on something, make sure that it's heard.
Which they do.
And they have to listen. It is up to us. I think that's important because a lot of students here seem to have a disconnect that, no, those are those people in power.
That's from listening to Ethan Klein.
I have to think, some of us just came from high school. So
sure.
To say that, well, some of us just came from high school. Well, first of all, yes, we understand how schooling works. So that's not really something that you need to say. But again, the point is, if you just came from high school and you don't really know how the laws work and you don't really know how the government works, then stop fucking acting like you do. Shut the fuck up and listen. Then you'll know. Freedom says, why do I feel like you was thinking about me when you stated only their ideas? I wasn't, but it definitely applies to you. I'm just, I've seen too many YouTubers getting clipped out of context. That's why when I read this one, how did I say it? I said, and this is why I don't trust women and, as No Freedom says, don't want to work around them. Break it up. You can still edit it together, but it's going to be very clear, especially with the Chiron, that's been edited. Whereas if I just read it, then somebody can just clip that, clip the just right here. And now I'm the one saying what you're saying. So I'm just want to make it clear that when I say we attack anything, all we attack is ideas. If you do something beyond that, that's not, you didn't get that from me.
And some of us are just now turning 18 where we can't vote. So there is a disconnect. And and that's where a lot of things also is education-wise. There's not a lot of education on policies, political things.
It's very apparent on campus.
So
he said that's very apparent. Yeah, we can tell because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But it doesn't need political things. You don't need to learn political science to understand that you don't understand. And that if you don't understand and you want to understand, you have to acknowledge that you don't understand. And maybe even talk to somebody who understands.
There's a lot of things that just not this one subject that needs to be talked about.
So now we're going with the blatant nebulous liberal. Well, there's so many other things in the world to care about. The fact that you're sitting here talking about this shows me that you're a bad person and all you care about is sexism and you don't care about the real issues, probably none of which I could actually name for you. But I'm just getting indignant because I'm losing this.
I believe that there's more important things than can women be in combat that we need to focus on, like schooling. Like, let's make sure like kids have meals. Let's make sure that kids are all getting the same education.
Yeah, sure. So are you under the impression that as a country we can only talk about one thing at a time? Hey, as you say, you're fresh out of high school. Maybe you don't know that is not the case. But no, that is not the case.
Before we start talking about other things.
Well, I've done many of these, and we have done them on school choice, for example. I'm a huge supporter of school choice and school vouchers. We have done them on abortion. We have done them on gender. We've done them on a multitude of topics. We have done them on gun rights. This is just one today that is relevant.
I get it.
Oops! Got him. Show me the stats. Okay. Women are more competitive in soccer. Beat by 15-year-old boys in soccer. Okay. It's not up to us. Actually, it definitely is up to us. Well, there's more important things to talk about.
It's just one today. But I'm just saying, like, I just believe, like, now, I believe, like, the way that it's phrased.
Damn.
I think it could be phrased better. But, I mean, it is what it is. But I like we said, we can disagree on policies need to be on across the board.
I think we agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
I said
That's
agree.
common
I meant
ground
to
there.
agree.
Yeah.
So they still agree on the thing that they originally agreed on. Got it.
Yeah, no.
But yes, I believe that it should be across the board. As far as the choice, that's
What
Well, I don't think
choice?
there's any choice. The
Yeah,
test
what
is
the
what
fuck
it
are
is.
you-
It's blind.
But I'm saying, but if women want to be in combat, that's their choice.
Is it though? As long as they can pass the test, it is. But I'm a man. I don't think I would qualify. I could. I mean, obviously, I could. You know, I could get there. But if I just went in tomorrow, I was like, okay, it's my dream. It's my choice to be in combat. What do you think they would say?
Not if they don't pass the test. You can't maintain both those positions. You can't say there should be a standard, they have to pass it, and then say, or it's their choice. Then why have a test? You're saying if they pass the test?
Yes, that's
Yes.
what I meant.
Okay.
If they pass the test, that's their
Then
choice.
it's their choice.
Yeah,
I agree.
If they decide to, you know what, combat's not for me, whatever. Because there's so
Sure.
many men who do the same thing.
Yes.
So
Right.
I'm like,
But if they pass the test.
yes.
If they don't, they don't have a
Yes.
choice. It's like,
Yes.
you're out.
But I'm like, there's so many different things in the military, whether
world
you
to
say Army,
care about.
Marines, whatever. There's so many different tests that they have to take. Rather, it's
And different roles, by the way.
Yes.
To be clear, I think that I am not saying that women should not be in the military. I think I've been clear.
'Cause
Or in the
that's
police
what
force.
I
I don't
think-
want them to be in a situation where they will encounter physical violence if they're not physically capable. Women can be detectives. They can be interrogators. They can be negotiators. They can do fantastic work with intel. They can be operating drones. They can be pilots. I'm just talking about roles that have physical standards or did for a reason.
So do you think the same way when it comes to
Type a 1 in the chat if you actually shared the URL.
operating like a gun or any type of?
No, here's the thing. I think that I actually am a huge advocate of women carrying firearms. I think that women should, because it's the one thing that actually makes you stronger than a man. It's an equalizer. If a man is attempting to rape a woman, sexually assault or overpower a woman, her best chance is to carry a firearm. The flip side of that is why
The flip side of that, completely agree that women should not only be trained in mixed in martial arts, specifically Brazilian jiu-jitsu, because it is made for a smaller body to be able to handle a bigger body. You know, that's not to say that that's the best the best discipline for a street fight, but it's better than nothing. And if you're small and you're the best boxer at 120 pounds, but if you're 120 pounds and you grab an ankle pick, you might save your life. Any film, I was going to say bullshit to anybody who actually put the 1, but I know that you did. So thank you. Thank you for doing that. So that's the one side, is that women should be armed and dangerous. And women should be able to protect themselves both with their own body as well as have the tools to do so. The flip side to that, Crowder's about to say. The flip side to that.
I want female police officers to have to meet the same standards as men, because if they're not physically capable, they have to go to their gun.
If they're not physically capable, I brought this up before. If they're not physically capable, I mean, I stole it from him, bringing it up, but I brought it up before. If they're not physically capable, they have to go to the gun. The guy's on PCP. A man can take, that does not surprise me in the least. But that's okay. You can join the Discord. Nobody's gonna ban you from there. Well, I mean, I might, but not unless you really do some crazy shit. Yeah, I mean, it makes the situation more dangerous for everyone involved when there's somebody who needs to be apprehended and only a physically not as capable woman is there, because they have to go to their gun.
Right? If it's a big, strong man on drugs, her only option is her gun. For the same reason, I think it's good for you to have an unfair advantage in day-to-day life if someone breaks into your house. Women should have guns. Police officers need to be ultra physically capable so that they don't have to use their guns, so that they can de-escalate.
I bet you, because I think she's about to, this is about the end of her thing, but I bet you if this is where the conversation started, she would be so up in arms about, unarmed black men getting shot by the police. Okay, well, why were they shot? Maybe, just maybe, probably small percentage, but there's definitely a percentage of men or women or people who were shot by the cops because the specific cop that was trying to apprehend them was not physically strong enough to do so. Facts is facts, baby girl. Facts is facts.
So we have less police brutality. I want fewer police having to use their firearms or use their taser as
But
possible.
in the same case of when you say that,
Again, where was the time that you used to process what he was saying? That's a big point. Oh shit! I never thought of that before I heard this the other day. I never thought about. I cannot wait to get a mat for that because I like the chair, but it keeps you see keep rolling back. So I gotta get one of those mats that won't let me roll as much. But anyway, yeah, that's a big point. When I first heard that, I was like, oh damn, that's a good ass thing. I never thought of that before. And she just blows right by it. Now, Freedom says, well, cops then cops think add a little buff in there. Well, cops, no, Freedom says, think a black child is a grown buff man. Sure about that? Why is that? Is it because they're committing violent crimes? Or because they're just a random black kid in the suburbs walking around? Cops go where the crime happens.
yes, like when you say bring up police brutality, but I see as a black person, I see more.
As a black person, are you black? Are you really? You're black. Are you black? Let's see how that changes the context of what she's going to say. So whatever she's about to say doesn't have any weight, or at least as much weight as needed in this conversation, without prefacing that she is in fact a black person.
Men grabbing the white police officer men grabbing their guns when it's in defense of a black person.
Who wants to bet that I don't know. We can look it up right now. Let's look it up right now. Who fires their weapon more often? Let's do which cops fire weapons most by race? So we got Pew Research. That's legit enough. A closer look at police officers who fire their weapon on duty. Many Americans believe it's common. About 3 in 10 adults estimate that police fire their weapons a few times a year while on duty, and more than 83% estimate a typical officer has fired his or her firearm or weapon at least one time in their careers. In fact, only about a quarter, 27% of all officers have ever fired their service weapon while on the job. So we got the chart here. Let's get rid of this. So among officers, men, whites, and military veterans more likely to report having fired a service weapon on duty. So we see here that by all officers, 20% of officers saying they have discharged their service firearm while on duty, other than on a gun range or training. So it's actually in the field. So 27% of all officers. When you break it down by men and women, that's 30% of the men, 11% of the women. And look at what we have here. Non-white, not just black, but all non-white officers together are 10% less likely, or maybe not less likely, but in the past have used their firearm 10 points, 10 full percentage points lower. So what are we talking about? Doesn't that kind of go against what you're saying? Wouldn't your position be that the white man's just out here bang, 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 bang? Right? Wouldn't that be the thing? So let's see. Now that she's not correct about that, let's see where she was actually trying to go with that.
So when you say that, yes, like when you say bring up police brutality, but I see as a black person, I see more men grabbing the white police officer men grabbing their guns when it's in defense of a black person.
Oh, okay. In defense of a black person. Okay, that makes sense. We weren't looking at that stat. I missed that part of it.
Whether it's a woman or a man.
Yeah, that's a topic for another day. But statistically, yeah, it's actually when you're
who knows, because it's such an easy number. I'll give you a margin of error of 3 people. Yeah, it's that small. How many unarmed black men were killed by the police in 2021? Just see how close you're going to be with that. So Freedom says, wait, you can also say a lot of racist white people are in high levels of the government. Sure. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with saying that. Not really sure how that is relevant to what we're talking about, but yeah, I don't disagree with that. But yeah, what is the number? How many in 2021 black men, unarmed black men killed by cops?
talking about armed white men are actually more likely to be shot by officers than black men. But we've done a whole table on that. Yes, but either way, I think we would both agree it would be
one standard.
It would be ideal that a police officer is capable in de-escalation, right, psychologically and physically, so they can subdue someone without having to use a gun.
Yes, yeah. I think.
Indy says 3. No, Freedom says Biden is one of them. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely an old white racist man.
For me, my opinion is regardless if it's...
But yeah, Indie Film says 3 black men. I'm going to say that's wrong. But it's probably a lot closer than a lot of other people would guess.
If it's a police officer, regardless if it's a man or a woman, if I see a badge, if I see the uniform, I'm going to go to them for help. That's one thing. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. That's honestly one thing that I don't care about.
That's not what we're talking about.
Now, yes, I will hope that their training has been enough to where they are capable, if I am getting attacked, that they can help me fight off the attacker or whatever. But as far as that, I think right now, until policies change, until we, like you said, everyone votes and makes their decision on where they stand.
Sure.
Until then, I feel like there should be one thing of, okay, just because she's a female does not mean that she cannot help me. And
that's called a straw man. And that's a fair straw man. And what I mean by that is the prompt is women should not be in combat roles. Change my mind. So to say that we're getting there, Anyfoam. To say that just because she's a female does not mean she cannot help is a fair response. However, based on the conversation that they've been having, it is very clear that that is not his position. Nobody ever said just because they're women. That's what you think people are saying, because that's how you view the world. You think of everything in terms of oppression. So we have here from Statista.com, number of people that by the police in the United States from 2017 to 2022. Can we zoom this up? Move this in? Oh, there we go. There we go. So if we go all the way back to 20, so the black people are in black. The where are we? So of unknown, we go back to 2017 and we're looking at 200 people back to 2021, and we're now only down at 177. Now, it's Thanksgiving. In 2022, the number is 75. And now this does not say unarmed. This is just people in general. So keep that in mind. So of all the people, whether they were armed or not, in 2021, it was 177. So give me a sec, because I thought that this was unarmed. But that's even armed. Only 177 people, which is a lot of people, for sure. But it's not some epidemic. And all of the other races are way higher. Again, 177 black, that's almost half the white people. And then I don't know how other is 488. I mean, maybe it's mixed or something or whatever. But it's not this crazy epidemic of killer cops that people are dealing with. So let me see if I can find the other one. Let's run that.
And I think that's where I
never said that.
No, not you, but I think I've heard that from some other guys or some other men who were like, well, she's a female officer. Or they're a female officer. But I don't think they're still doing their job.
I don't think they're saying she's a female, and I'll leave you with this. I don't think they're saying she's a female officer. She can't. She can't help me. I think what people are saying is she's a female officer. She did not have to meet the same physical requirements. Ooh, it's a roll of the dice. I don't know how much she's going to be able to help me. And that's based on a reality. And I think that is horrible because women will forever be held in doubt because of the diversity hire and the double standard. For the same reason that affirmative action in college is a problem, because unfortunately people will go, that person deserve to be here, or is an affirmative action result? And I think that that's the bigotry of low expectations.
We talk about the bigotry of low expectations all the time. Well, these people they don't know any better. They can't do any better. So me above them, superior to them, supreme compared to them, need to dictate this, that, or the other. The bigotry of low expectations. All right, so she is about to get up. Let's finish this up, and then I have the exact poll, or not poll, but the exact information that I was looking to get. Really quickly, No Freedom says, wait, they do now most white. Oh, wait, do they know most white women benefit from that? From the bigotry of low expectations? I mean, yeah.
And
I mean, I don't think they know, but they definitely do.
Unfortunately, it harms women, and unfortunately, a lot of these situations, they harm people of color. And I think that the tests need to be blind. We need to have a standardized test, regardless of race or gender. If you pass, great. And of course, I think we should respect everyone's out there. I'm sure they do their job honestly. If they're a police officer, I wouldn't denigrate or disrespect them. I agree with you on that. Thank you so much, though. I appreciate you sitting down, and I do like the sweater. Go listen. They have some great albums. If you haven't listened to them, I think you might like them.
I have to do homework. So
I'm not saying right now.
Even on the breakaway, he's just making banter. You started the conversation off talking about how you're wearing a shirt from AC/DC and you don't know AC/DC except for that one song. So we had a contentious conversation. You tried a bunch of bullshit that didn't work. Now I'm trying to be gracious by going back to the friendly banter. But even that, well, I have to do homework right now. Insufferable. White women benefit from affirmative action the most? Is that true? I have no idea either way. I thought affirmative action was more of a race thing than anything else, but hey, if you got information, then let me know. So we've got here a great way to go through this. So we have the different years, and we have every single person. Is that it? Oh, 2019, 2020, and 2021. So we see here, we're in 2021. Making sure we all can see. God damn it. How did that happen? So we're in 2021. We can see all of these names. These are all black people. Unarmed black people. This is the wiki page of list of unarmed African Americans killed by law enforcement officers in the United States. So let's do this easy way. Let's just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 people. And if you look at the, this part of the explanation of all of these, most of these are situations where there is, lethal force is necessary or at least warranted. Maybe not necessary, but warranted. So what did I say? 13, 14, something like that? Less than 20. Less than 20 people for an entire year. But yet, the previous year, people all around the country burned cities to the ground in the name of black men being killed unarmed in the streets to die like dogs. Those like Jacob Blake, who was going to steal, or he was going to steal a car with a knife in it, and toddlers. Yeah, he's black, so he can't do any better, right? That's what the woke people are telling me, that we have to treat them fairly, and fairly means that because, according to them, that they're so much lower than us that we have to change the rules for them. Right? Sounds kind of racist, doesn't it? Freedom says affirmative action. It was until, we can't give back the black free. This is not a sentence. So let's, I think she finished up. And then there is, after this, there's a much shorter conversation with actually 2 women who sit down, and I just want to compare. I want to compare because I believe this is in Texas, right? I don't know where it is. I think somebody said something about Texas. And 2 other women sit down who are equally as uninformed, but let's see how that's just a little bit different when you don't have this, I don't even know what the word is, this slimy entitlement coursing through your veins.
But thank you very much. Anaya.
Yes, Anaya.
Got it. So see, it's always hard to have a discussion when the opposing point of view insists that your research is simply made up, and it's why it's always valuable to have the references and make them available, which, by the way, you can go see for yourselves at louderwithcrowder.com.
Yeah, even when they don't have their own references.
Also, ladies, small bit of advice, take it or leave it. When your loving father suggests that you do something, like research your AC/DC sweater, not a bad idea to listen to him. Dads tend to know best, especially when it comes to music from their era. Okay, let's bring this tugboat to shore and see if we can finish this on a high note. Oh, yeah, we have 2 lovely ladies here,
Let's
Jewel
go.
and Caitlin.
We got some smooth cats in the building. Shout out to TLA. Put a TLA in the chat if you know who the fuck I'm talking about.
I don't know how familiar you are at all with what we do with these segments. He's changed my mind. It's hopefully a way where people can kind of rationalize their positions on sometimes controversial topics. I don't believe that women should be in combat roles, and like you mentioned, police officer roles, if it's a role that includes violence or the possibility of being physically overpowered, or enlisted forces roles, because of the fact that it makes not only women unsafe who are in the line of fire, but also their brothers in arms less safe. I think there are a multitude of ways that women can serve in the military and the police force, but those that require extraordinary physical capabilities are not amongst them. And if you disagree with that, I'd be more than happy to hear why and change my mind.
Well, I'm not really the type of person to be like, what you think is like wrong and what I think is right. Like, I'm open to hearing other people's like perspectives on things. I'm not really like, no, you think we don't think the same. You're wrong. You know.
Oh, great.
So already, what a brilliant difference. A brilliantly refreshing difference. They sat down. They seem like they don't agree, but they're not here to be like, how dare you? And more importantly, they are not treating this as a competition. This is a conversation in which both people can win, if you want to put it like that. But both people can come away better people. Oh, come on. Better people. Better people.
So
There we go.
what I'm like hearing from you is like, I'm not necessarily.
Boom. And another great point right there. So starting off, getting, okay, I don't necessarily agree with you, but I want to hear you out. I don't agree with that, but I don't think that. What I'm hearing from you, if people are saying that phrase to you, that's the type of person that you want to talk to. Because what they are attempting to do, unlike our last person who was, pulling the Kathy Newman and putting words into Crowder's mouth and trying to argue against points that he wasn't even making, what this woman is trying to do is to make sure she understands what it is that Crowder's position is so that she can accurately engage with it.
Really hearing like women are better or men are better and women aren't. It's just like the physical attributes
Yes.
of what's different.
Yes.
So, okay, you saying by like they shouldn't be in physical roles. How do you think like that? Do you think like
Again, do you think, and again, she is having trouble. She hasn't thought about this before too much. She's not really sure where to go with it, but she's deferring to him. Do you think, I don't even know if she's going to ask yet. Do you think?
I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Do you think that women can
If anybody knows what I'm thinking, we'll talk about it. But if you caught what I just caught, put it in the chat. Because I don't want to say it if nobody else saw it.
I don't know, work up to being
Yeah.
physically capable? Like,
So yeah, and that's something that I kind of expect people to bring up. Statistically, very unlikely, and that's the reason for this topic. Is we've created different tests since the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, where we've reduced the physical requirements to try and accommodate women, and they still.
So since he's basically going to make the same points, I'm going to speed it up a little bit.
Fail at a rate that's significantly higher than men, several multiples higher than men. They even just created a gender-neutral test in the Army that they now have to scrap because less than 10% of men were failing, but 65% of women were failing. And these are tests that no longer include pull-ups, push-ups. And if you look at the results, once they get out into the field of battle, women get hurt a lot more, and members of their squad get hurt a lot more. They suffer bone fracture rates at several times, multiple rates.
Firing these sources out.
They get disability discharges, 65% more than men. In the police force, they're far more likely in their whole squad to be violently attacked if there's a woman there, and in large part it's because it's a role that requires physical capabilities. So if we're saying if women could meet those standards, yeah, my position, I would agree with you if it's we raise it to the highest standards that we've had, keep those, and women who can meet those, sure. But that's not what we're doing.
Right.
I think.
So that's his actual position. His position is not that women shouldn't be in combat roles. It's just the okay. Well, give me a little more. Keep it. I forgot what I was saying.
Keep those, and women who can meet those, sure. But that's not what we're doing.
right.
I think
Yeah. So his original position, Steve Corrado's original position was not that women should not be in combat roles. It is that the way that we are testing is wrong, and using that framing as a way to get people in, and then say, oh, actually, when I clarify, this is actually what I mean. Kind of like when you're an atheist and you call your channel and yourself the Indian Jesus. It's a little shit test. And these ladies have passed.
it's inherently sexist to keep lowering the physical standards to try and accommodate women in combat roles.
Yeah.
Even though they still keep failing.
If you're in the Discord, I'm definitely going to bring it up.
And it ends up putting them in harm's way.
I had a question, I forgot it.
Do you think that, what are you, like, what's your goal, like, here? Like, what are you trying to, like, accomplish?
Again, another great question. Not attacking anyone. What is your goal here? What is it that you are trying to accomplish?
Here, like, with this?
Well, I think this is a goal, and these change of mind started out actually just me coming on the street with a sign.
Okay.
And then we had a couple on campus, and then it became very apparent that no one on campus was hearing these perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
For example, we've done them on gender, we've done them on gun rights, we've done them on abortion. So it's really just hopefully for the student body to no longer be a monolith and hear different perspectives, because this is a pretty important
I do
conversation.
agree. I do agree that the body, like, was genetically not made for that kind of thing, you know? Like resulting back to, like, very old times.
How the fuck did my shit go from 12 likes to 5? Do you... what is it saying on your screen?
You know, women were never made to do that. Like, the men would do that. Or the men would go to fire or whatever, and the women would cook or clean up, whatever, that kind of thing. So,
Well, I'm not saying that women have to, just to be clear, I'm not saying women have to cook or clean. There's no reason that a woman, for example, in the police can't be a detective, can't be a forensic investigator. There's some data that suggests they might be better interrogators, actually. So I have no problem with that. I have a problem with putting women, and we are doing this, in combat roles where not only they are more likely to be hurt, but their brothers in arms are more likely to be hurt as a result of someone who's unqualified being put on the force. Okay. So I'm not saying they should be at home cooking or cleaning. There are many, many ways that women can serve in the military and the police force.
Just not physically. I agree.
So, like, is this topic coming from you?
Did you... y'all saw that, right? I definitely saw it at 12. And I just went to... I was like, oh, yeah, we're doing good. Maybe we hit 15. Let me go check. And it goes down to 5. People don't just unlike videos at that level. When there's 7 people watching and we get to 12 likes, there's literally not enough people to bring it down. I knew it. That's some fucking bullshit. Whatever.
From a place of, I think men are better and women are superior, or where is it coming from?
No. I mean, look, men are not superior.
Well, do me a favor if you double check to see if it unliked the video for you, if you can, or if it did, and you can do that for me. That would be great.
Superior to women, and women are not superior to men. We're different.
Yeah.
I don't know that we're doing any great service to young women by telling them that they can do anything a man can do. They can't. Just like we're telling young men that men can get pregnant too. I don't believe they can.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
What we've done.
Well, according to Anaya, they can't. Remember, she said, well, man can't get pregnant. That's what she said.
That topic as well, and people say that I'm transphobic for suggesting that. And I think that there are roles in which women serve valuably, and they have in the military and in the police force. But I think this idea that everyone has to be equal on all fronts I really think it's harmful.
I honestly agree, because like recently, like with the whole like the gender topic and everything, like there's been a lot of topic of some like feminist women being like we scientifically don't necessarily need men anymore for what they add to like creating children and everything like that. Like it can genetically create like children for women and put them in their bellies and everything in a lab, But then if you think about
Yo, who we got on Twitch?
it and you look at the bigger picture, like
Shout out to Twitch. Say hello, so I know you're here.
in the trades field, most of the trades workers are men.
Yeah.
If you look at what they're doing in the oil field, welding, all types of construction work, all types of that. Like, I'm not saying women can't do it. Like, if you want to do it, you just have to work 10 times harder. But that's something, if you want to do, you can do. But if you look at it, like most women wouldn't pick to do that. And if you get rid of men, like, who would be doing that?
Who would make up 93% of all the workplace
Who would
deaths?
build a building behind us?
Let's
who would
go!
Fix, like.
So the one little issue I have with what she says, that you have to work 10 times harder. If she means that because you are of lower strength, you have to work harder to achieve the same thing, then absolutely, I would say that's correct. If she's talking about, well, it's a man's world, so you have to work twice as hard just to be seen as half as good or whatever, then that's bullshit. But everything else she's saying, on point. She agree. Her, or both of these women, and Anaya, have the same position on this. They have the same position. So why is this? What's happening?
The World Trade Center, when that happened, like most of the firefighters and the police officers and everything were men,
Right.
saving people's lives and everything like that. Like,
Yeah.
I just feel like God made a man and woman for one reason. You know, men are supposed to do this, women are built to do this, and I do agree that men are more physically capable.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
What do you think?
What did God add to that sentence? We already had established that men generally are stronger than women. Men generally do the harder, more physical jobs. What does that have to do with God?
About it sounds like we found quite a bit of common ground. Most people aren't aware, but what do you think about the fact that we've continually lowered, physical requirements for the military so that women can meet them?
I feel like putting our men out
I feel like
there with a lower physical requirement, it makes it easier for people to get in who may not be able to fight as well, or like be physically inclined enough to go out there and fight the war. If they lower that standard, it should be set at a standard that all of them should be able to, just fit in that same category. Where they keep on lowering it, I mean, it just makes our men out there weaker and weaker. So.
Yeah.
And again, this was something that Anaya explicitly agreed with. Explicitly said, yes, I agree with that. So why is this conversation so different than the one we just heard? That's a direct question. I would like to hear what if you can diagnose $5 Cash App. Gotta fucking bribe you motherfuckers. $5 Cash App who can give me a good answer based on my judgment. A good answer as to why these two conversations are so different, even though all three women agree that the standard should be the same and that it's not fair or not as safe to have differing or lower standards. Why are they different? The two conversations.
I think that like changing the whole requirements and everything like that, it's given people the mindset of like I can do this now because it's changed. When I feel like if they would have just left it alone and they would have left it at the same.
I missed what she said. I can do this now because what? I can do this now because something changed?
I can do this now because it's changed. When I feel like if they would have just left it alone and they would have left it at the same,
oh, I can do this now because it's changed.
You have to do this A, B, or C, or you can't get in,
Yeah.
If they would have just left it at that, there are some badass women that could have done it, and they could have gone in, I'm not saying it's a large percentage or a small percentage or anything, but I am saying there are some women that could do it, and then that would just make it even more rewarding. I feel like everybody...
That's a great point. So before, I want to run that back, because I was... so any film says oppositional defiance disorder. I don't think that's in the DSM-5, although I don't think gender dysphoria is anymore either, but... point, and that's a whole different conversation for a whole other day. But yeah, humility is the answer I was looking for. So I'll give you that. Any film. So next thingy, you can take that credit. It's just humility, the ability to understand. Oh wow, there's a table there with a famous YouTuber who wants to have a conversation about things or something that matters to me. Anaya sees that as a challenge. She sees that as a personal affront where she needs to go fight for her people because they're being oppressed by the white man coming to her, whatever. At the same school. It's not like we went to different parts of the world. The same school. Getting the exact same education. We get this. Humility. Confidence comes from humility. if you start at confidence, you probably didn't earn it. If you start with humility, you can lean way harder into that confidence. So, oh, that's who it was. Little Toes. Little Toes is talking about how I always talk about religion in the Discord. I was like, bro, I haven't done anything on religion in a month. Like, that's a big part of who I am. And like, he's like, oh, well, you're so one-sided. Well, yes, that's the point of this channel, is to give my side. And what I welcome you guys to do, as Scorpion said earlier, is to give me your side. And then we figure out either who's right, who's wrong, or maybe we can both learn from each other or agree to disagree, or whatever the case may be. Humility. Just take a step back and understand that you don't know everything, that I don't know everything. There's things you don't that I don't know. There's things that I know that you don't know. And that is perfectly fine. And on a long enough timeline, if we actually continue to have these conversations, then the amount of shit that I know that you don't, and the amount of shit that you know that I don't, will continue to dwindle. And we will all be smarter, better people.
Gets the same opportunity nowadays when necessarily they don't deserve that. They don't work as hard. They can't physically do it, you know? Like, I know for a fact if I tried right now to go join the military, I would not get in.
No, well, no.
Absolutely not.
I said, shit, me too. And whoever just gave me one more like, thank you so much. I don't know how it went from 12 likes all the way down to 5. So again, if you could double check that your like has been counted, that would be a huge advantage to me. Thank you so much.
You know?
Well,
and I don't think it's fair that...
you know, I would correct it. It's not that it's not fair, it's that it's not right. Because people do this because they say it's fair, but when we go into that, a lot of people don't know this. For example, in the Marines, a woman can do half as many pull-ups as a man and get a perfect score. I don't think that's fair. I think it needs to be the same standard because
it
ain't right.
But it's what's right.
It's not,
But it shouldn't be the same standard because that lowers the standard for the man.
Exactly.
Right. Well, that's the thing, it's not just in the Marines, they don't have a
See how you can come into a conversation knowing jack shit, but if you listen and you humble yourself, now she's starting to understand the more peripheral aspects of this. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. That's it.
gender neutral test in the Marines. A man has to do twice as many pull-ups to get a perfect score. So a woman can do half and get a perfect score, but they're out there in the same battlefield, fighting the same enemy.
That's very true.
And I know that I've been accused and I will continue to be accused of sexism and maintaining my position, but I just don't want to see a woman who can't do pull-ups out there get her head caved in, you know, because she's not qualified to be there.
No freedoms does.
Right.
It comes with deadly ramifications. But I think
It does come from also like a different mental state as well.
that's true.
That plays a big role.
Women are far more likely actually to experience like PTSD, be discharged for that. And that's not to say that women are mentally weaker. It's to say that women are mentally, I would argue, more adept at other situations that men wouldn't handle very well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree that the higher rates of PTSD in women who have been in the military or on the police or other combat roles doesn't like he said, it has nothing to do with women being inherently having a weaker mind. It's just different wiring. Men are much more easily can much more easily compartmentalize that type of stuff. Compartmentalization is not even a man versus woman thing because there's other things that women can compartmentalize way better than men can. First thing that comes to mind is like, I don't know, compartmentalizing all of the shit that is destroying or falling apart right around your world, as long as your nails look good and your eyebrows are on point. But you know, obviously that's an extreme example. But a guy, you wouldn't see that. You wouldn't see a guy, or maybe I don't know, because you do see a lot of dudes out here flexing Balenciaga and Gucci and all that stuff when they can't even pay rent. So, but point being, minds work differently, and that is okay to acknowledge.
Going out there with a gun and fighting terrorists where you're not able to shower and you're not eating for days is one of those where test after test shows that men perform better. But not when it comes to making sure that as you mentioned, like children are taken care of. I mean, I'm a new dad. Basically, all I do for the first year is make sure they don't die. I'm pretty much useless.
Right.
They don't really need me.
Yeah.
So I think
It has a
different.
lot to do with the genetic makeup in general. Like it just results all the way back to the genetic makeup. Like that's just how a man is built and how a woman is built. Like I just feel like physically men are way more inclined.
Do you think most women on this campus would agree with your position?
Absolutely.
Absolutely not.
Why not?
It's a women's university.
Okay.
Well,
I know what you're saying, but explain what that means.
People here are very
I would say liberal.
was it liberal? Maybe not liberal per se.
Maybe I don't know.
Just because I don't know. I would say more like
Crazy?
more emotionally in touch
People are
with
sensitive.
yeah, like more emotionally in touch with like
Who would have expected that at a women's
It's a
university?
poll.
they're just a lot
please.
more I don't know, I guess just like I'm more emotionally involved with these kind of things. Like, oh, that's it. They're going to tell you that you're sexist, and they're like, oh, people come here like women can do anything, like yeah, sure, women can do anything, but that doesn't mean that we're not genetically made to not be.
Women can't do anything though.
So like,
nor can men. I don't know about that stuff. Men can't give
Men
birth.
can't have
And
children.
statistically,
there's just so
women
many
can't do
things.
pull-ups.
Yeah, there's just so many things that a man is made for versus a woman, and people don't see the difference in that. Like people here.
It's just because of the generation we're growing up in and the generation we're becoming.
Do you have these? So you say that your position might be less than popular on campus like this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because women, for the same reason, they're more agreeable, right? Women tend to be nicer. They don't tend to be as confrontational. Do you have these conversations? Do you challenge your female classmates when they talk?
That's a great question. I think. Well, let me ask you guys. Well, let's see where we at this poll. Oh, great. So 3 here and nobody's hit it. I was gonna put up another poll, but I guess we're not there yet. What I was gonna ask is specifically the gentleman, which I think all of you here are gentlemen right now, unless Scorpion's still here. But question being, because I know that I am very unique in the terms in the context of the types of conversations that I have. It has nothing to do with or has a lot more to do with my specific personality rather than my gender or anything like that. So I'm curious, gentlemen, do you actually aside from like when we're in the Discord and talking about this stuff, do you talk about this stuff with other people in your life? And does it get heated like we can in the Discord? And is that a regular thing, or do you and your friends kind of stay away from that? Very interested to hear about that. Really, nobody's gonna hit the poll. All right, well.
Topics come up, or do you just
I
kind
feel
of try
like
and
I
sidestep
kind of
them?
don't associate myself with. I don't
It's like
know.
you already know. It's like you already know how the conversation is gonna go. So it's like on a topic like this, it's like you just like, again, like my opinions are my opinions, your opinions are your opinions. People are too sensitive nowadays to be like, well, your opinion's wrong. No, my opinion isn't wrong. We're different people. That's just how it
Can I
goes.
present something to you, just as a thought?
Yeah.
Because first off, I think that you've presented yourselves well,
Thank you.
and you've rationalized your positions well.
Thank you.
But I would
Even though they didn't know much about the topic, they presented themselves well. Through what? Humility.
say this. You saying that's your opinion and this is my opinion, that's very respectful, but here's the problem. The people with these other opinions who you're talking about on campus, they're the ones determining legislation.
Very
because
true.
often people like you, and I don't mean that in a denigrating way, being respectful, you decide, well, live and let live. But these other people don't.
That's very true.
They're pushing it legislatively to the point where children are allowed on puberty blockers. And so
That's very true.
I'm told, right, no vagina, no opinion. Even though women obviously have opinions on men's issues all the time, we need women like you having those conversations and making sure that you can kind of push back on the legislative process, because it is done.
Guys, what are we doing? Can you please hit the poll? This is a very important aspect of the show. This particular question. I don't ask for much, guys. If I put up a poll, just click one of the things. No? Nobody's going to hit it. Really? Okay.
dominated by the kinds of people you're mentioning on
I
this campus.
feel like I kind of gravitate towards people who think the same as me. Like, for some, I don't do it on purpose. Just like, I just kind of feel like
The whole confrontation thing is just
har.
something you try to avoid.
It's
when you have
exhausting.
the- exactly.
I'm a very confrontational person, and if someone were to come to me and say,
and tell me
well,
my opinion's wrong, I'd be like, well,
a man can get pregnant, like,
absolutely no.
or like I can turn into a guy if I want to. Like, I just don't think that is physically.
Do you see it in the chat now? Or did you not see it before? Is that what happened? Like, what? You guys have the ability to communicate with me, you know.
All I ask is that you have those conversations here on campus because, unfortunately, you know, women. I say this: there's no group of people, maybe Black Americans, who are more overly represented in the media, but whose voice is actually completely unrepresented than women. Because everyone sees when they assume, right, that when they talk about women voting, it's pro Roe v. Wade.
So when I stop the whole show, and I'm like pouting, maybe you just be like, "Hey, dude, I don't, what are we talking about? I don't see a poll." You know, like when the video doesn't play and you guys sit there for 10 minutes and then any film comes in or Trey comes in like, hey, but you can't hear the sound. Like, guys, I'm not watching the show. I'm doing the show. I need you guys' help. I need you guys' help. There's plenty of channels where you can just go and it's you know, you can just sit back and do nothing. And you could definitely do that here too. But this is an interactive experience, and you know, I just think the best way to enjoy it is to engage. That's all.
Pro
That's
LGBTQ
all.
and women's sports, you know, pro progressivism as opposed to any type of traditional gender roles, and that doesn't mean that they're fixed, but meaning that recognizing the differences between men and women. It's assumed that women are a monolith. And unfortunately, I think a big part of it is because women like you are nice, which is you still be nice, but don't be afraid to speak out.
Very true.
Right.
Because I'm sure you feel it, right? I'm sure you
get
feel a little bit of that tension to speak out, and maybe you'll be ostracized, right? There is some pressure, I'd imagine.
There is some
here, you know,
pressure.
like, everybody I feel like thinks one way.
Right.
And I went to a different university. I'm a transfer student. So I
Okay.
went to Howard Payne University in Brownwood, Texas.
I definitely thought that she was going to say I'm a trans woman.
I don't know if you know where that is, but do you know where Tarleton is?
Tarleton?
Tarleton is?
No.
Well, it's in Stephenville. And
Oh,
so
yes.
Brownwood is an hour away. And the campus and the campus life and the community, completely different. If you were to have the same conversation there, you would get completely different answers, and it would honestly be less controversial there. But the majority of students are male students that are white.
I would say,
And
though, having done
women
this,
that are-
that's actually never.
That's interesting that she would say that the answers that that you would get are different because everybody here is a white male, especially from a woman, a liberal woman, to say that, well, white males are going to have a much more diverse, like, I don't know, maybe I misunderstood.
Been the case because even if, let's say, the student body is more varied in their points of view, it ends up being a few people who dominate the
Oh
conversation.
yeah, because
on any campus.
they're the ones that want the confrontation that have a different view.
Yes. Yeah. So, well, thank you very much. I'm sorry, your name again?
My name's Caitlin.
My name's Joel.
Joel, thank you for sitting down. I hope I clarified the vision. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Of course.
Very excited to be working together again.
There we go.
Departure from
So we have our two different conversations, and so the poll was: which one did you enjoy more? Which one did you enjoy listening to, or and watching? Because there absolutely is a lot of fun in watching people who are just bullshitting and just talking shit and trying to digging themselves a grave and then trying to scrape their way out of it. But when it's not good, it kind of seems like a waste of time. You know, if there's going to be someone like Steven Crowder, love him or hate him, the man knows how to do a show. And it's frustrating, not only that Anaya took up so much time, but that there was other people who probably, you know, had conversations, or there would have been other people who would have conversations that maybe we would have learned a little bit more about the topic at hand. Now, again, I'm awesome, so I can pull value out of anything. And comparing those two conversations, I think is a good thing to look at. And so, you know, I really when we go to Discord, I really want to hear what you guys think about the differences between the two, and what it is like having to navigate through the world if you're not trying to be somebody who is like me and is getting into these conversations, and it's just coming at your face. Pause. It's just, you know, nonstop, and you're not able to just either take a break, or you don't care, or whatever. That's what I want to hear from you guys. So we are going to move the panel over to Discord. The link is in the description, guys. It is free to join the Discord 24/7. We're in there. We're always having conversations. Kluk just shared with me his this thing so we can play a bunch of games. I'm down to play another murder whatever thing we played last night. That was a lot of fun. But I do want to hear from you guys first. So please do go and join the Discord. We're getting up there. Like I said, like I've been telling you, I do have a number in my head. Once we reach that number, everybody is yes, no freedoms. You definitely do, because you can go balls to the wall. For those of you who are not as familiar with Discord, it's not like Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram where you post to the wide web and then there's terms of service and whatever. No, the server is a private corner of the internet. Unless somebody reports illegal activity, like if somebody's posting CP in the server and then somebody reports that to Discord, then yes, they're going to close the server down. But there's nobody watching us. There's nobody. I am the supreme leader in there. And I'm not the dictator type where, oh, you have to say all the things. No freedoms, you can go the fuck off. Just click the link, bro. Just click the link. And I genuinely would love to be able to hear more about your opinions about this stuff. Because a lot of times you're trolling. A lot of times you're saying stuff that can't really be put up on the screen. And if we're in Discord, there's nothing to worry about. It's just us. It's just us. It's like us being in a physical room. It's just digital, but it's locked off from the world. There's no way to get banned for saying the wrong word or anything like that. I am the authority there, and I am looking to do everything that I can to maintain the integrity of it being a free speech platform. If you're fighting with somebody, I'm not going to, come in and say, oh, you shouldn't do that or you shouldn't do that. Unless it gets to a certain point. For the most part, I want it to be a place where everybody is doing their own thing. I trust you guys. If you're here, then you're smart enough to be able to handle yourself in a situation like that. So either don't get into, don't get into arguments you're not willing to have, or go balls to the wall and have a good ass time. And you know me. It is very hard for me to stay out of a conversation on which I have an opinion. So if you say something random, even if somebody else doesn't want to, get down with it, then I'm always here. And then, of course, after every show, we jump right over there. So that's where you want to be. So a quick announcement in honor of my birthday. My birthday is next Monday. And I want to be with you guys. If I'm not streaming, I'm literally just gonna smoke in my room and go to bed early. That being said, though, I am going to take Friday off. So we will not have a Friday stream. We may do something in Discord. We might do a watch party. We might do something like that. And so again, reasons to join the Discord, but we will not have a show Friday. So the next time you see me, holy fuck, I will be 33, right? 89, 33. I will be 33 years old the next time you see me if you're not in the Discord. Or the next time you see me on stream, I'll be 33 years old. And sucks. I'm getting old. But yeah, join us over in Discord. Link in the description. I want to hear all about what you guys think. And of course, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Guys, I think we can do it. We've got about a month. We're right about 650. I think we can do it. But I need your help, guys. Please. If I ask you guys to share the URL and IndieFilm is the only one who does it, and then you come here expecting, to be able to, especially No Freedoms, you want to be able to troll people in the chat. There ain't no people to troll if you don't bring them in. I'm doing everything I can. You saw the different font and on the the thumbnail. I'm working on getting better at every aspect of this. But I can only do what I can do. I can only do my part. I can only set up a studio and stream 3 hours 3 times a week and come up with different ideas and find content. That's all I can do. All I'm asking you to do is the stuff that's free. It's free. Now, if you want to help monetarily, especially on my birthday, hey, come on, it's my birthday. But if you want to help, rolling across the bottom of the stream, as well as right here, the IndianJesus on Cash App or Venmo. There's also a PayPal or Bitcoin link in the description. But guys, you don't have to do any of that. That's not what I'm here for. I want to build this community. And so I'm doing a job. So we just need to keep going. But I need you guys to do the things that you can do from your end. And if you can't afford money, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. The time that you spend here, that does a lot. And it's free. You know what else is free? Hitting the like button. It's free. The likes are the biggest thing that drive live streams in the algorithm. The next is the chat rate. And after the fact, comments in the actual comment section like a normal video. So as soon as the video is over, if you just go into the comment section, I just be like, hey, great stream. Hey, terrible stream. I don't care what it says. I mean, if you actually want to, hey, I thought this, I would love to read what you guys think. But just like Divining Rod, he calls himself HR bumping stuff. And I love it. Because every short that I put out, every video, it has a comment there. And I know Divining Rod doesn't have an opinion on every little thing. Especially because a lot of times he's here watching the stream. So when I post the shorts, it's stuff that he's already seen. But it just takes a couple seconds. You're already on your phone. I need you guys, man. I need you. I can't put it any other way. I need you. But again, if all you can do for me is spend time here with me, that is more than I could ever ask for. There's a million things that you could be doing with your time. So to spend it here with me really does mean a lot to me. So thank you so much, guys. Again, at TheIndianJesus or $IndianJesus, like, comment, subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. Even though you know the notifications don't work, be the notification you want to see in the world. Take that URL, blast it over Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and the like. And we are going to get this rocking. Head over to Discord. I will see you guys there in just a few moments. But for those of you who are too weak and decide that we are way too cool for you, then I guess I will see you on Monday when I am a little bit older and closer to dying. Thank you so much for hanging out, guys. This has been another IndianJesus party. I am your host, Lutch, a.k.a. the IndianJesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until the next party, guys, thank you so much. I am out of here. Peace.